You hear that? You should be ashamed.
So I'm sure most of you by now have heard about the Slazo situation, an 800k sub YouTuber who was falsely accused of sexual assault at the age of 19. An accusation that was publicly supported by a bunch of his big YouTuber friends, one of which being 1.6 million sub commentator ImAllexx. Now to be fair, at the time of them coming out and supporting the allegations, they had yet to be publicly debunked by Slazo. But once Slazo did publicly debunk these allegations once and for all, boiling down the situation to him just being a bad boyfriend rather than a rapist, most of these YouTubers either partially or fully retracted their initial support for his ex-girlfriend Shay. But there was a couple people who didn't, and the most outspoken of those people was ImAllexx. Once Slazo released his video, Alex posted this onto his Twitter.
I want to make a statement because of the fact that obviously I came out and supported Shay when she posted her twit longer, and obviously now Michael's video has come out where he's debunked some of the things that were put in there. First of all, I already knew that some of the screenshots that were used in Shay's twit longer were jokes. I was very much aware of that, but I never had an issue with that, and I want to make that clear. Stupid jokes are stupid jokes. I don't think that's the problem. My problem with Michael was him admitting to doing things that he knew Shay may not have wanted to do and being incredibly forceful and almost demanding. I don't believe he's innocent. I don't think he's innocent at all. Shay may not also be innocent and may have hid stuff and used jokes to try and maybe push a certain agenda. But at the same time, the stuff that Michael admitted to is stuff that makes me not want to be friends with somebody who is capable of doing those things.
Obviously, this response caused quite an uproar and kickstarted a discussion surrounding ImAllexx, with the two main discussion points being that he still heavily implied that Slazo was a rapist.
I don't believe he's innocent. I don't think he's innocent at all, being incredibly forceful and almost demanding.
And that he knew there were jokes in the twit longer when he saw them, but still publicly supported the twit longer regardless of that.
I already knew that some of the screenshots that were used in Shay's twit longer were jokes. I was very much aware of that.
Now the biggest question me and many other people have regarding this is why? Why would you treat someone like this who you previously let stay at your house for over 3 weeks? And normally we would have no way of getting the answer to this question. But luckily I was able to get into a Discord call for 5 hours with ImAllexx, where majority of the time he was talking about this situation and his feelings regarding it. Now unfortunately I didn't end up recording this call, and you'll find out why in just a second, but before we get into it, I do want to prove that I was actually in this call. Here's some of the Discord group chat where the call took place. And here's some DMs with me and ImAllexx talking about the call that happened, and proof that it's actually from the real ImAllexx. And I'd also like to point out that in these DMs he mentions a tweet I made announcing that I was going to make the video on him, which he didn't seem opposed to, and he also said it was fine that Nick Diorio, who was also in the call, is making a video regarding the call. That on top of the fact that he said he'd publicly make a video about this if circumstances were different, leads me to believe that he doesn't mind any of this information going public. And regardless of that, I do feel that it is important for people to hear his side of the story, as it sheds an important light on ImAllexx's behavior. Now starting off, the biggest question that's probably on everyone's mind is why does ImAllexx still think Slazo is guilty? And according to him, it stems from a lot of his personal experiences with Slazo in combination of what he said to his ex-girlfriend Shay. It's already been proven that the DMs Shay showed in her twit longer were 100% real, but the severity of these DMs were downplayed when Slazo explained how majority of them were jokes and that he was just being an overly horny and forceful teenage boy in a teenage relationship, and also added additional context showing how he asked Shay if she was comfortable with these messages. Not justifying what he said, but rather vindicating himself of intentions of sexual assault. But there was a particular DM that bothered ImAllexx. Specifically this one where Slazo says, "I don't think I'd say I have rape tendencies, but this is just because we've done it, and because I'm so horny at 16-17. I'm thankful for that." And what he argues in these messages is that if you don't have rape tendencies, you would never not mention having rape tendencies. The other two key points that makes him think Slazo does have these tendencies and the potential to sexually assault somebody both stem from experiences he had with Slazo while he was visiting him for 3 weeks. One of those instances is when he was casually talking about all the pedophiles he's had to deal with over the past 2 years. The most notable one that is publicly known is Zaptai. Based on what he said to us in the call, I assume this conversation included him mentioning that he's dealt with over 25 cases of alleged sexual assault against somebody he knows, and that he seems to be the oracle of sexual assault. While talking about this with Slazo for 3 hours, Slazo's responses were almost non-existent, which, looking back on that conversation, leads him to believe that the reason he wasn't so talkative during those conversations is because he's guilty of doing the same thing. And if I'm gonna be fair to Slazo here, Alex does talk a lot. In that 5-hour call with him, he was talking, no joke, 98% of the time. Nobody could barely ever get a word in, and that's not an issue for me. I kind of enjoy listening to people speak for long periods of time, but I think it could be a more reasonable explanation to why Slazo was quiet during that conversation. Now, the last point to why Alex believes these sexual assault allegations against Slazo is based off an experience during a party at Alex's house where a bunch of his friends were getting drunk. Alex claims that one of his friends were hammered and that Slazo was pretty much sober, and he used this opportunity to sexually take advantage of this girl. Now, up until this point, assuming everything Alex said was correct, his reasonings for being against Slazo were pretty solid. I mean, if Slazo really did take advantage of Alex's friend, and then Alex hears about the situation with Shay, it would make sense for him to believe it wholeheartedly based off the behavior he witnessed prior to hearing the allegations. But about a day after that call ended, I found a major issue with that story. This tweet right here. It shows Lewis with a smile on his face taking a picture next to Slazo and the girl. If Slazo was really taking advantage of that girl, do you think he would be sitting there smiling and waving? And do you think Memeulus would have responded saying Slazo, Slazo, Slazo? Either Alex was lying or Memeulus supports sexual assault. And I think it's more likely that Alex was either mistaken or lying in that call. And this is what really sparked my idea for this video and what got me to question ImAllexx as a whole. Based off the way he was acting and expressing himself during that call, there was nothing that indicated to me that he was lying or being disingenuous. In fact, he seemed like one of the most genuine and nice people I've ever met on the internet. But what he ended up saying was a lie. And then after I figured out that lie, I started to think back on a lot of the stuff he said, and there were a lot of other little lies that were spread throughout our conversation. Nothing as big as this one, but a lot of inconsistencies that didn't really match up. If you want to know specifics, I'm going to direct you to a video made by Nicholas Diorio that goes more in depth on everything he specifically lied about. But what I'm personally more concerned about is the intention behind these lies. Is he actually being malicious and lying to my face for 5 hours straight? Or does he genuinely believe the stuff he's saying? I'm leaning more towards the latter, and I'll explain why. Throughout all his lies, ImAllexx has a tendency to see a situation, blow it up in his head or over-exaggerate it in his head, and then make connections based on that over-exaggeration, turning it into a lie. A great example is Slazo being silent while Alex talks to him about the false pedophile allegations that his friends had to deal with. It could have been him just not being that talkative, but in Alex's head, he over-exaggerates that to mean, oh, maybe Slazo is guilty. And then when the Shay allegations are brought to his attention, he connects that experience to the allegations in order to validate them in his mind. He also did this with the drunk friend scenario and with the DM that mentions rape tendencies. But here's the thing. What I just told you is an explanation, not an excuse. Let's not forget that because of these over-exaggerations, Alex is pushing a narrative to his large fan base that someone is a rapist when he has absolutely no concrete proof to back it up other than his own intuition. With allegations as serious as these, you cannot rely on your own intuition. Maybe Alex is so used to hearing pedophile allegations that he just gets used to inserting his own assumptions into these scenarios. But to express those assumptions publicly as fact is just dangerous. And it helps put an innocent man in the position where they're falsely being accused of rape by the entire internet at the age of 19. And you used to call this guy a friend. And he lived at your house, and you didn't even bother to contact him about this. That's what really gets me. You didn't bother to contact him about this once you heard the allegations. You just automatically assumed they were real based off experiences that you over-exaggerated in your own mind. That is not fair to Slazo or anybody else. People come to you assuming you're thorough, assuming you know what you're talking about, assuming that you're not making assumptions regarding rape. And you dropped the ball, and you shouldn't have done that. And the fact that you even have the tendencies to let this spiral out of control as much as it has, proves that you're not well equipped to talk about these subjects publicly. And that's my honest opinion. I don't think Alex is malicious, but I think he's extremely ignorant. And I think him being in this commentary environment so consistently in his mind has diluted the severity of false rape allegations. But that's just what I think. Over the past 24 hours, Twitter has exploded with conversation regarding ImAllexx's false rape allegations against YouTuber Slazo. But the thing about this drama is that it's already a month old. Why is it being brought up now? Well, that's due to the release of 3 new YouTube videos that added more context behind the slandering of Slazo. One was made by Turkey Tom, which went more in depth on the involvement people like Bluesdank, Quite, and Hyojin had in the slandering of Slazo, and 2 videos made by Nicholas Diorio and myself going in depth on the invalid reasons that Alex has for believing Slazo is a sexual predator. The conversation starts to kick off when Pyro's girlfriend Hyojin responds to what Turkey Tom said about her in his video.
As other people in the community caught wind that I was going to talk about the situation on my channel, another person reached out to me, who had actually lived with Hyojin for a decent amount of time. According to them, Hyojin is extremely manipulative, and she would pick up this person's dog and drop it on its back because she found it funny. Furthermore, once she moved out of this person's apartment, she lied to multiple people and said that our source had abused their dog instead of her. And here's a DM where this person confronted someone else who was lied to about it, and they seemed to acknowledge that Hyojin should be taken with a grain of salt. It's interesting that 3 separate people who I talked to about her use the word psycho to describe her personality, completely independently of each other.
Your core argument for not believing in Shay was that DMs alone aren't enough proof. However, all of your points against me are also in DMs, not between parties involved, but of the accuser telling you gossip. Your logic is inconsistent, and you're addressing this in bad faith. If one of your close friends told you that they were sexually abused, would you not do everything in your power to help them? I didn't have a hand in writing the twit longer at all. I was complete moral support. The screenshot being posted of me and Quite is taken out of context. I didn't abuse a dog, and everyone living in that house can confirm. The roommate has a history of abusing and neglecting her dog and leaving it up to the rest of the house. Also, I didn't cheat on Pyro. We've broken up for months, and it's none of your business, you creep. Nicholas Diorio responds to this by saying, "You see, Hyojin, one of them is a sexual assault allegation, and the other is a person saying you're batshit crazy. Naturally, the life-ruining allegation would need a bit more proof. Also, you're welcome to dispute his DMs like Slazo did and clear your name too." Jay Aubrey responded to it by saying, "If you can't expect people to take Tom's video seriously, how can you expect anyone to take your response seriously when you don't provide any evidence?" BWC follows that up by saying, "It's none of your business, creep. Participates in falsely accusing Slazo of being a sexual predator in an attempt to damage his channel and potentially ruin his life. Get to fuck, Snake." Augie RFC responds to it by saying, "Laughably bad damage control. No wonder you guys couldn't pull off an op properly. Sexual assault allegations need no verification because my internet friends." Turkey Tom responds to it by saying, "I actually did not accuse you of anything. Other people came out against you, claiming things about you, and I gave them an opportunity to speak their mind." Hyojin responds by saying, "You're not going to listen to anyone who doesn't already agree with you. So jog on back to supporting Zaptime, mate." What a wonderful comment from someone who falsely accused someone of rape. Interesting stuff. Turkey Tom responds with this screenshot saying, "For shame, Hyojin." The screenshot reads, and you were resorting to removing comments that aren't even insulting you. Very nice, Hyojin responds by saying, I'm removing drama that you keep bringing up. It's got nothing to do with me. I was supporting a friend in need and that's it. Now fuck off and stop supporting an abuser. Showing that she still believes Slazo is an abuser despite the overwhelming evidence that he is not. Later that day, I received a screenshot of the DMs Hyojin was mentioning to Turkey Tom earlier, but with the full context this time. I then posted them to my Twitter with the caption, these DMs are so sickening. Just let a man make YouTube videos in peace. The DMs start with ImAllexx saying, look, I reckon we need to try and get it out soon. Want to make sure that he can't continue. Whatever makes that happen, I support. Quite then responds, yeah, same. Then Hyojin responds, with events coming up, I want to make sure no one else associates with him. Quite then responds, yeah, Shay, do you have that version of the post you said you were gonna send? I then show a screenshot of Hyojin responding to those DMs by saying, this is a part of the combo that's cut. None of us were writing it. We don't want to ruin Slazo's career. We just don't want to be friends with a potential rapist. Now obviously that brings up a lot of questions because usually if you don't want to be friends with a potential rapist, you don't go and falsely accuse them of rape. I comment on this by saying, we didn't want to ruin Slazo's career. Lol, okay, you just made up false rape allegations for fun then? I continue by saying, she said potential rapist. Even she isn't 100% sure he's a rapist. What? You publicly call him a rapist and you don't even know if he was one? Are you brain dead stupid? Everyone with genitals is a potential rapist. That's not a reason to make sexual assault allegations. Kavos then takes my DM leak and makes a comment of his own. He says this on his Twitter. DMs leaked showing huge YouTubers planning to take down Slazo with these bullshit rape allegations. How the fuck can you support any of these creators, especially ImAllexx? Keemstar then sees Kavos' tweet and decides to make a tweet of his own saying, we now have proof, ImAllexx, that you planned/organized false rape allegations on Slazo, a fellow YouTuber and so-called friend that makes similar content to Alex. Allegations that you knew Alex were 100% false because you were literally there. Showing more screenshots of an allegation Alex made in my Discord call with him and Nicholas Diorio. Again, if you want to learn more about that, I have a video that will pop up in the cards in the top right hand corner. But moving on, we actually have ImAllexx responding to Keemstar by saying, as I said in that DM, I said I'd support the people who came forward as I believe the victims who had contacted us. I'm not trying to falsely accuse anyone of anything. Just support my friends who are going through a hard time at the hands of another, as it seemed the right thing. Now this is an incredibly hypocritical statement because Slazo, a former friend of ImAllexx, was going through a hard time with these false rape allegations. And from my call with Alex, I'm led to believe that he was never even friends with Shay in the first place. So why would he choose to support Shay over his friend Slazo? Doesn't really make that much sense. Either way, Keemstar replies to this by saying, all you do is lie. Lie, lie, lie. I'm sick of it. You are a backstabbing snake. Actually, I'm not even sure if it's backstabbing because you are friends with no one. You don't even know what friendship means. You just hop from one person to the next, sucking clout from them and using them. Kavos then responded to ImAllexx's tweet by saying, fuck off. You wanted to make sure he couldn't continue. Whatever makes that happen, I support. What does that mean then? Alex responded, whether they wanted to go to the police or not, I would support the decision on how they wanted to deal with it. I was just counseling someone who seemed to be in a lot of distress. Kavos then responded, you're such a little pussy too. Only replying when Keen tweets because you're scared he has more clout than you? Disingenuous, just trying to save your own ass. A friend of ImAllexx called ML Joe responded to Kavos by saying, at the time of those messages, it was almost unanimously agreed that Slazo was this disgusting person though. Even you thought so, showing some tweets Kavos did in response to the initial allegations made against Slazo, which were obviously not talking about Slazo in the nicest light. Kavos responds to ML Joe by saying, yes, I thought the messages were vile because Alex and co presented them as fucking such. I made it clear that I don't think he was a rapist already and these screenshots were in my video. So sorry it's not a gotcha moment. I, unlike Alex, had fucking zero inside information, and I didn't betray my own fucking mate like this. Alex responded, "Look, you can keep hammering that betrayal tagline down all you want, but it makes no sense for me to go after Michael like that, especially as both people were friends. I hadn't even seen the jokes until after the post was made. We read the DMs and came to the same conclusion." Kavos responds, "You already said in your Twitter video that you were fully aware of some of the jokes. So again, stop bullshitting us, mate. You didn't even ask Slazo himself. And Nicholas Diorio's video completely obliterated you with even more false claims you tried to make. When Slazo came out and proved you wrong, you still claimed that he was extremely forceful and said he needed to get help. When in reality, Slazo was just a 16-year-old boyfriend who was a bit controlling. So please, shut the fuck up." Which, Alex ended up taking that advice because there was no more tweets from Alex from this point onward. Kavos then tweets out, "Fuck this, ImAllexx Part 2 anyone." So, hopefully we see a new ImAllexx video from Kavos very soon, and we might actually get a little bit of a sneak peek of what's going to be included later down the line. So continue watching the video because some of these tweets get juicy as fuck. Kavos tweets out, "You know what ImAllexx was doing last night? Parading leaked DMs of mine around, trying to seem cool at VidCon. Why? Because your ego's hurt and you're too much of a pussy to actually talk with me IRL, so that made you feel better. Fuck all in the DMs, by the way. Was just a combo with me and Will." The images that Kavos then shows are DMs that read, "Yo, by the way, that Wilney guy was leaking your DMs to Alex and Alex to everybody else at VidCon, by the way. Wasn't me who saw it." Kavos then responds, "Haha, cool. Thanks, mate. What a pussy." The other person says, "It was douchey for sure." Kavos responds, "Yeah, was it the DMs I sent Will that night? Like, there's nothing to leak. It's just a bitch move." The other person responds, "For sure. Alex was trying to look cool, showing everyone too." Then, Kavos responds with laughter. Switching gears away from Kavos, we have a tweet made by Nicholas Diorio that says, "Just a reminder, ImAllexx really didn't want people to know what he said. Enough to threaten a lawsuit." Then he shows DMs where ImAllexx says he will get lawyers involved if Nicholas Diorio ended up recording the call. Unfortunately, me or Nicholas Diorio did not end up recording that call, but we have a lot of people to back up the claims that Alex made in that call. White responds to all of this by saying, "Fuming." I bet you are, man. Next up is a tweet by Mr. Anti-Bully. He says, "It seems like it'll be an entertaining story. Wasn't even paying attention to all of this, but there's like 80 videos on it," showing a screenshot of Alex saying, "I don't want to have to get my lawyers involved." Mr. Medicare then shows a clip from Nicholas Diorio's video with the caption, "Maybe get some new friends."
He openly says that the accusations against Slazo was the 25th case of sexual assault that has occurred in a friend group he's been a part of.
Alex enters Discord. Alex, "Hey guys, what?" User 1, "I was raped." Alex, "Oh my god, that's User 2, "I was raped." Alex, "What are the odds on that?" User 3, "I was raped." Alex, "Is there a bot loose in here?" User 4, "I was raped." Alex, "I'm scared." And then Mr. Medicare quote tweets a tweet by John Progress, and he says, "Double oof." Now, what this tweet actually says is, since we're talking about ImAllexx making false allegations, let's not forget that last year he accused me of being a pedophile when I was under 18, simply because I said he shouldn't be drinking if he was depressed, and then blocked me. He then shows a DM that ImAllexx sent him that says, "Everything was great. I didn't drink because I'm an adult who can make choices for myself. Doesn't matter if you don't like me, mate. Don't like you, but I wouldn't publicly address your relations with an underage girl. Leave out this morally high ground bollocks. It's clearly not working for you." A very ironic DM from Alex, considering what we know now. John Progress continues by saying, "Then after people forced him to DM with me over it, he said he had assumed it simply because it was what other people said on Twitter. Yes, that's right. He wasn't even provided evidence, but because someone called me a pedophile, he decided to try and use it as a form of blackmail." He then shows a screenshot of his DMs with Alex, where he starts off by saying, "So why was it ever mentioned in the first place if you never knew what had happened?" ImAllexx responds, people call you it on Twitter. I didn't know what happened. I don't think it's fair if there's no proof. That's insane. I'm so out of the loop on this whole thing. Ha ha ha. So was the fighting tweet about you? And then the all-star bacon thing about you? I don't follow YouTube drama really, so I'm a bit out of it. Progress continues his tweet thread by saying, Alex will continue to repeat his shit if he is not held accountable. For anyone trying to defend him saying it's a first time thing, it's really fucking not. I also know of others he had accused of being pedophiles the same year he did it with me, but I couldn't speak for them. In conclusion, fuck Alex. He attempted to ruin so many careers through his lifespan as a YouTuber. Until I see a genuine change and him apologize for all of his actions against people, I refuse to support anything he does. Tozier then responds by saying, let's bring this gem up too, at Bluesdank, showing a screenshot of Bluesdank saying, progress music, where's the progress? Alex liked it, and then Bluesdank later said, once a nonce, always a nonce. And for those of you who don't know, nonce is slang for pedophile. Keemstar makes a new tweet on Alex that says, ImAllexx, lies, false accusations, no apologies, tries to cover it up, backstab multiple friends, uses multiple YouTubers for clout, and the most damning of all, he looks like that freak from Ice Age. We also have Keemstar tweeting out this image of Alex's brand new t-shirt, I accuse my friends of rape. We also have this new makeup by Hyojin that's called Sweet Lies. Willie Mac quote tweets ImAllexx's promotion of his Belle Delphine video and says, great video. I like the part where you didn't call them a rapist. And then finally, to end things off, Memology says, the people who betrayed and backstabbed Slazo are eating each other apart. Please grab the popcorn. This is gonna be good. This is going to be good indeed. Despite Slazo fully vindicating himself of all accusations, all the accusers seem to have yet to apologize and are doubling down in the case of people like ImAllexx. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in the coming days now that they've been caught red-handed slandering another YouTuber. I didn't think the ImAllexx Slazo drama could get even more insane, but believe it or not, it actually has. I just got sent a 12 screenshot long DM leak that not only showcases Alex's malicious intent, but also proves that he's a liar, a hypocrite, and batshit insane. Now, before I show you guys these DMs, of course I need to prove the validity of them. So I asked the person who sent me these screenshots to give proof that they are real. So they ended up recording them scrolling through the DMs both on mobile and on PC, which I'm showing to you right now. So these DMs are indeed real. There's also going to be a couple names censored out of these DMs because they were also having a conversation about another situation that was irrelevant to the Slazo ImAllexx situation. And finally, if you're not caught up on the situation up until this point, we are pretty far down the rabbit hole in regards to this drama, so I recommend checking out the videos in the description below to get fully caught up on the situation. But without further ado, let's read these DMs. They start off with ImAllexx saying, if anyone thinks that Michael is innocent, then they quite clearly didn't read what he admitted to and also omitted from his video. Misremembering isn't a defense mechanism. Fuck him and fuck this other person. If they weren't such fucking sleazeballs to my friends, we wouldn't have an issue, would we? Lol. Michael came here and creeped out a bunch of girls I know. Seeing people just blatantly make shit up though when I've done everything I can to axe these people from their positions of power is infuriating. It's our word against his. But I'm not the one making a 26-minute video on how I controlled a 14-year-old girl and said I had rape tendencies in DMs. They reply, Alex, I get what you're saying, but the reason I said what I said was not because of you. Alex then says, I know, but these people are my friends. And to see the ones who actually want to get help get shut down sucks, because Annie is taking the fall for being the only person out of about 20 who decided to actually tweet out and support Shay. In fact, the first time we talked is when me and Annie were told we would be hanging out with a rapist for 2 weeks and everyone apparently already knew that. Shit's rough. People get shit for not doing anything, then get shit when they do? Like laughing my ass off can't win. The other person then responds, well, from what I'm aware of, Shay had help in creating her posts. That's all I know. Alex then responds, and when I was told about it, I was thoroughly disappointed by the way they all wanted to handle it. Yeah, her friends helped her. The other person then responds, well, the people I heard helped her was a bit surprising. Alex responds, which is understandable, IMO. She wanted to make sure she didn't fuck it up. Which is funny now. The other person responds, then again, could have just been word of mouth. I heard Annie helped, and even Dolan helped. Alex then responds, we were all asked because we are their friends. We suggested she went to the police if she thinks it's that serious. Shay just wanted to know her friends believed her, but I refused to get involved because I think a lot of them aren't much better honestly, and I've done this before. Twice. And I know that no one believes you until about 6 months after it happens. Then everyone believes you. I've got so many anonymous DMs about Michael, it's sickening. The other person responds, it's a mess. Just an absolute mess. Alex responds to that by saying, I'm tearing my hair out. It's like I don't want Michael to be around my mates, but also some of the people who are already our mates are completely fucked and hiding behind it. I wish there was good and bad, and that's it. The other person responds, I get ya. It's a lot, and no one is one or the other. Look, I get we've had this giant back and forth, and I know you didn't come into my DMs all happy, but are we still cool? I'm not mad at you. Alex responds, I know, don't worry. I'm mad at everyone though because it's like, if he's guilty, he's free now. If he isn't, fuck Shay? But I've read over DMs, and I've seen him around my mates, and he's definitely a dodgy fucker minimum, and I'm angry that they seem to on purposely omitted stuff from the posts, which I've been told is about 50% missing. So fuck them all. And my follow ban is up. Nice, haha. The other person responds, so much omitting. Alex responds, yeah, loads. I asked why and they told me. They gave you a reason? Alex says that they said, so if he responds, we can respond. That was what me and Annie were told. I told them that was stupid and left all chats with them and unfollowed them. The other person responds, please tell me that she's not planning another response after Slazo showed those messages on Shay being frisky. Alex responded, I don't know. I refuse to be involved. I outright blocked them on Discord, so they can't call me. The other person responds, oh god. Welp, commentary apocalypse around 3 or 4 now? Here we go. Alex responds, 7, 8? It's been a mess since 2017, and that's why I moved on from hanging with them. This is the first time any of us have talked in 2 years, which is mental. The other person responds, what? I thought you'd all have spoken more than that. Alex then replies, no, I don't like them. Maybe it's recently become apparent why, lol. From VidCon 2017 to now, it's just been too much for me to handle. The other person responds, no, I see that. I'm kinda glad you have people like James and Fraser, much more grounded. By the way, James is James Marriott and Fraser is iNabber. Alex responds to this by saying, yeah, they're great. Having friends you can physically hang out with allows you to actually know people. The other person responds, I totally get that. Then Alex finishes this off by saying, and I've learned that you really know nobody online, and this situation shows it. Not only do I not know Michael, I don't know the people on either side. Now, at face value, those DMs didn't seem too bad. You know, you might actually get to see some of Alex's perspective and maybe even believe him to an extent. But the issue comes in when you actually look back at the DMs and really think about what he's saying and all the contradictions he's making and how insane it sounds compared to what we actually know about the situation, stuff that ImAllexx is also aware of at the time of making these DMs. Let's start off with the obvious stuff. Here he says he has done everything he can to axe these people from their positions of power and that it's our word against his. This directly contradicts how Alex responded to Keemstar when Keemstar explained that ImAllexx planned to take down Slazo with these allegations. We also have this comment saying that Michael came to his house and creeped out a bunch of girls, claims which have been debunked by Slazo himself in his interview with Nicholas Diorio. But besides the fact that he didn't actually creep out any girls, we have ImAllexx here mentioning that Michael came to his house. But at the very end of these DMs, he says, having friends you can physically hang out with allows you to actually know these people. And then he follows it up by saying, not only do I not know Michael, but I don't know the people on either side. But you hung out with Michael physically, so wouldn't that mean you actually know him? A little bit of a contradiction there. Speaking of contradictions, we have him saying, these people are my friends, and then 4 messages later, I don't speak to these people by the way, and mentioning that this is the first time he hanged out with any of them in 2 years, yet the reason he knows about the Slazo accusations is because Shay wanted to tell all her friends, but they haven't spoke in 2 years, and he says he doesn't really know these people. He also says these people aren't much better than Slazo, but then he also called Slazo a rapist, so he thinks these friends are just as bad as a rapist yet he publicly supported the accusations that these friends made against Slazo. So these friends who aren't really your friends, but you guys are still friends enough to support each other's accusations of rape, are bad people who fucked up the TweetLonger allegations that you ended up supporting publicly, but is now calling it horrible behind the scenes, yet there's still good enough accusations to believe that Slazo is a rapist? So you think the people who made the allegations are bad people and liars, but you also believe them when they say that Slazo is a sexual predator, and you didn't bother to go and contact Slazo once you heard this information from these unreliable people who you weren't even friends with for over 2 years, but friendly enough with them for them to tell you about these accusations in the first place. You can kind of see the insanity that's going on here. And these are the same things that Alex told me and Nick in that Discord call, which is why I could just not wrap my head around what I heard, and I made this tweet regarding the call when I was first announcing that I was going to make a video on it. It's insane, and now you guys have the proof to see ImAllexx's insanity. Also, ImAllexx mentioned that Slazo said he had rape tendencies, but what he's actually referring to is this DM leak where he said he doesn't have rape tendencies, and his argument that he made to me in my call with him is that you wouldn't say you don't have rape tendencies if you actually didn't have rape tendencies. But to just straight up say that he admitted to having rape tendencies in his DM conversation with this person is pretty disingenuous. Every time a new development happens in the ImAllexx Slazo story, I just keep telling myself there is no way it can get even worse. There's no way these people can dig themselves a deeper hole than they already have, but every single time I keep getting proven wrong, and at this point I'm just wondering when the fuck will it end? Hopefully not anytime soon, because I live for this drama, I want to see the world burn, and I know you guys do too. So without further ado, let's actually get right into the new shit these guys have been saying in response to being exposed for falsely accusing Slazo as a sexual predator. Starting off, we have this tweet from NetNobody, aka Sky Does Minecraft, where he says, "Hey Slazo, sorry about what happened between us and for jumping the gun so quickly. I'm sorry. Wow, I mean that was so easy to do, and I wasn't even involved. I don't know what other people's excuses are. You see, the joke is that I was never involved in this anyway." I love Sky's tweets, man. He just says it how it is. Something I don't love, though, is Weest's response to his false rape allegations against Slazo. On his Twitch stream, he said this.
"I'm still not apologizing to Slazo. I'm apologizing to anyone who thought that I was calling someone a rapist. Probably should have worded it better. Right?
Yes, it's our fault for thinking he meant rape when he tweeted out this. It's our fault for thinking he meant rape when he commented this. He said Slazo sexually abused someone and doesn't care about consent."
Nigga.
Okay, whoa there, ImAllexx. Like, you do realize this is a YouTube video, right? You can't just... Okay, fuck it. It's already been ruined. This is already demonetized. I might as well get into the tweet that Primink made in response to the Hyojin Turkey Tom thread that we talked about in the last video, where he showcases Hyojin's behavior on Discord. This message by her reads, "No, you stupid fucking
Nigga.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. You are the worst person I've ever spoken to. I hope you fall in the toilet, you backwards ass-eating self-human centipede
Nigga.
looking ass Canadian beaver looking ass teeth shithead to get a life in the sewers and make a living off of drinking the cancer leaking out of your colon love tunnel, you dirty sand."
Nigga.
Wow, that was a loaded message by Hyojin, and a pretty hypocritical one too if you check out her latest Instagram post, which reads, "A video came out about me spouting baseless rumors without proof, resulting in me getting an influx of racist remarks spammed in my comments. Don't pay attention to these people, and stay positive, please. Stay positive indeed," which Hyojin continues to do in these Discord messages showed by Linad, where she's very frantically asking for proof in regards to the dog abuse accusations made against her and mentioned in Turkey Tom's video. Linad says, "For someone who's falsely accused someone of rape based on screenshots without context and vague wording, Hyojin seems to care a lot about people having proof." Showcasing that within the last 3 minutes, Hyojin asked for proof about 10 times. She continues by saying, "They are baseless accusations. Turkey Tom's arguments are all based on screenshots. No proof. Lena prefaces these next screenshots by saying, I never accused him, I only ever supported the accusations. Semantics aren't gonna get you out of this, Hyojin. The messages from Hyojin read, I supported a friend who was in an abusive relationship, end of story. I supported a friend, I never accused him, I only ever supported Shay, and that's fact. Yo, I'd love to confirm these allegations once some proof is out. Coward, you didn't give me proof. Coward, weak, where is it? I'm asking for proof. Hand it to me in physical screenshots. Show it. Where's your proof? Good day. None. Where's your proof? Sleeping emoji, sleeping emoji, sleeping emoji, sleeping emoji, sleeping emoji. Lena then continues, I think this conversation I had with Hyojin summarizes her maturity perfectly. She was just supporting a friend and doesn't think she owes Slazo an apology. As you can see from the last image, she's taking herself very seriously. He then shows a conversation that starts between him and her in a Discord server where he says, Hyojin, for someone who has falsely accused someone of rape based off screenshots without context and vague wording, you seem to care a lot about having proof. If you didn't block me on Twitter, I could have linked you my tweet, but hey, I never accused him, I only supported the allegations. George says, you're really taking that out of context. Hyojin agrees to that statement, and then we have some people saying cock and ball. Lena says, I don't see how it's taken out of context, which, I mean, it wasn't. I don't really see how it's taken out of context either, to be quite frank. Hyojin decides to respond to this by saying, cock and ball, to which Lena says, glad to see how serious you are taking this. Yes, if you're ever caught supporting someone who is falsely accusing somebody of rape, you don't need to apologize to the person who was falsely accused. All you need to say is I was taken out of context and cock and ball. George then says, I don't want to speak for Hyojin, but she was just supporting a friend. If your friend claimed that they were raped, wouldn't you do everything in your power to help them? Hyojin follows that up by saying, Shay is one of my closest friends IRL. Nothing more I'm adding on to. Lena responds, there's a difference between supporting your friend and posting what you know are lies to social media. Apparently there wasn't enough evidence to go to the police. Shouldn't have that been a sign? Hyojin then responds, I was not aware that Shay had lied. I already talked to her about this. This doesn't change my relationship with her. Now I suggest you'd stop stalking all of my social medias because I'm not going to reveal any personal info. Lena responds, so you didn't know they were lies. That's fine. However, unless she's got more evidence, I believe you owe Slazo an apology. Hyojin responds saying, Slazo was never my friend, and I don't owe it to him. I never clowned on Slazo or made fun of the situation. You can check my Twitter, but not once did I ever call Slazo a clown. I was only there for Shay. So these messages really just kind of show Hyojin's entire attitude about the situation. She's kind of bringing up stuff that no one's really bringing up to kind of prove a point that was never being made. It's kind of like she's not listening to the messages that are being sent and is just responding to what she thinks the other person is thinking about her. It's very strange behavior and a very weird way of avoiding responsibility for spreading misinformation about somebody being a rapist. Speaking of strange behavior, in between videos on the topic, we found out that Hyojin has a not safe for work account where she draws not safe for work images. Now this on its own would be fine, but what she draws is her fucking her YouTube friends. And this goes without saying, but that's very, very questionable to say the least. I think Mystic sums it up best when she says, who draws their friends fucking each other? Who draws their friends fucking her Sona? Why? What the fuck? Now this on its own is pretty weird, but an extra issue layered on top of that comes with this image made on September 17th, 2017, where it shows a lewd image of her and somebody called Elin Ninetails. Now if you go to Elin Ninetails' account, it says in her bio that she is 18. The current year is 2019, so in 2017, she would have been 16 years old. Hyojin is drawing not safe for work hentai of her and a 16-year-old. And she did it again with Leland Monster, who is currently 17 years old. At the time of this drawing, she was 15. Absolutely fucking disgusting. I can't believe she actually made art of these real life people. It's one thing to make underage porn of fictional characters, but when they're based off of somebody in real life, especially someone you know, it is extremely fucking creepy and disturbing to draw yourself fucking your underage friends. Luckily, Hyojin did end up addressing this, but I have a feeling that I'm not going to like the answer. This tweet starts off with her saying, concerning the recent accusations towards me, where she shows 4 images. The first one reads, I've been waiting until after VidCon to address everything that's been circulating around me. Now that I've had time to collect my thoughts, I'd like to address a few things. I'll just start off by saying I have never, would never abuse a dog. It's pretty ridiculous to assume I would. Additionally, I never lived with the owner of the dog. They said so themselves, shown in the screenshot here. The dog itself was severely neglected and untrained. It was a major problem, biting everything, tearing up furniture, and even biting people. I'd leave the house with bite marks and scratches whenever I went around. At one point, it even managed to break one of my friend's phones. 2 of the people living in that house can confirm and back me up on this. In the next 2 images, we have these 2 people explaining how Hyojin didn't abuse any dogs, but also that the dog was misbehaved. As for the old not safe for work account that people mentioned, most of the art posted on that account was meant to be jokes and not legitimate porn. There's pornographic imagery in those drawings, so it's porn. It's porn. Everyone that was drawn had requested it themselves in response to a public tweet and were all depicted as 18+. I dislike lolly stuff as much as anyone else. And if you've been a viewer of my stream, I've mentioned the subject of lolly countless times and how much I despise it. Yet I'm still going to draw porn of underage people. But apparently they were depicted as 18+, so that makes it okay, even though the implication that they are currently underage is there. But, you know, in the lore, they're 18+, so it's fine, dude, you know? Obviously not pedophilic. Holy fucking shit. What an excuse. What an excuse. Now let's actually get into why I think she's lying, and it stems from this sentence right here, where she says, everyone that was drawn had requested it themselves. She drew ImAllexx sucking Kavos' dick. And Kavos responded to this by saying, didn't she draw me? I never wanted that at all. So if Kavos didn't request that image, then that means ImAllexx requested for gay porn to be made of him sucking Kavos' dick, or Hyojin is lying. I'm more inclined to believe that Hyojin is lying because in my call with ImAllexx, whenever Kavos was brought up, I didn't get the impression that Alex wanted to suck his dick. I mean, Alex is bisexual, so there is a chance that he was sexually attracted to Kavos in 2017. I feel like it's a way more far-fetched for ImAllexx to want to suck Kavos' dick and have it portrayed in a picture than for Hyojin to be lying. But about 22 hours after the initial response tweet was posted, Hyojin added to the thread by saying, as for the Slazo situation, that's a matter that I'll give a proper response to in time. I decided to touch on the issues that were directly about me first. I'd like to clarify that I wasn't involved with writing the tweet longer. I only wanted to show support for a close IRL friend. Nicholas Diorio responds to her by saying, the issue that you've been accused of supporting false rape allegations is an issue that quite literally is directly about you. The fact that you can't differentiate supporting a friend and crushing someone with your influence without evidence is an issue about you. Turkey Tom responds to Hyojin's initial thread by saying, you responded to the most minor point in my video and ignored 95% of what I actually had to say. Very cool. Very epic response. Try harder next time maybe? Bonus meme. According to Australian law, you are doing something illegal. Minors are using those characters to represent themselves, and multiple of them have features consistent with being a child. Someone went to jail for drawing Simpsons characters in pornographic contexts. So you could easily be put away for the same. Back to making pizzas. He then tweets out, I will see you in court, madame, showing a Discord message from Hyojin that reads, I think it's a serious slander issue for a guy to accuse me of animal abuse and cheating on a partner. I've debunked the animal abuse quite well with statements from 2 people that lived in the house. He said he didn't accuse me of anything, but placing those baseless things in a video and at the same time insulting me is essentially sending over the mob to believe it. It's a fucking crime to actually paint my image like that when it's based on nothing. A lie. I did not draw my dog. I did not put the floor on the dog. I did not put my dog anywhere near my floor. I've never done anything weird with my dog. I told myself I wouldn't make any more apology videos after last year, so I'm trying to drop the dog as fast as possible. An obvious parody to Shane's cat apology, which was just the funniest thing ever. Nicholas Diorio responds to Turkey Tom by saying, Hyojin is saying it's a legal issue that Turkey Tom talked about rumors and presented them with evidence. You know what else is a legal issue? False rape allegations, you sociopath. Couldn't have said it better myself. This is just so stupid from all fronts. Hypocrisy, immaturity, degeneracy, and a potential liar unless ImAllexx requested porn of him sucking Kavos' dick, which it seems that 52% of you think is the case. But I am still of the opinion that Hyojin is lying. That's about all the important stuff I have to show on Hyojin, but there's a couple more tweets regarding the situation that I thought would just be fun to go over and discuss. The first one is a Twitter thread that starts off with a kind of ale quote tweeting Hyojin's accusation response tweet by saying, "It's been so fucking stressful seeing my friends getting dogpiled for completely bullshit reasons. And for all the what about Slazo shit people, it clearly says she's addressing the allegations that are directly relevant to her. Be patient." Tony then responds by saying, "Fair enough, though my argument is, I think addressing the Slazo shit first would be an even better move. It's the main thing people are pissed at her for. And most people with enough brain cells to care about get the dog thing is only a rumor, not fact, though they may mean." King of Kazoos responds, "I'd say allegations that you abuse animals are priority compared to you're a snake." Bruh. Responds by saying, "I'd say possibly false allegations that claim someone is a rapist and abuser is a bigger priority than dropping a dog." Then King of Kazoos responds, "If you think calling someone a rapist is worse than physically harming a dog, you should get your priorities in check." We have no fuckers replying to a tweet calling Turkey Tom cringe. Turkey Tom then responds to him by saying, "Goodbye, my Slavic brother." And then No Fuckers responds by saying, "Oh no, he's gonna make a video on me where his cartoon character is going to angrily cross his arms while accusing me of a bunch of baseless shit with a voice of a scrawny 16-year-old. What shall I do?" To give context, by the way, my beef with him isn't regarding the Slazo shit. I have no involvement in that situation, and I barely know shit about it. My beef is that he's spreading cheating and dog dropping rumors, therefore doing the same thing as the people that were accusing Slazo. Nicholas Diorio responds to him by saying, "Now I am aware of why you aren't taken seriously. What a take, lol." No Fuckers responds, "Not taken seriously by who? Shot from the point dead news team? That is more of an honor to me." PewDiePie's editor Shive then responds, "Shot from the point dead. I'm crying." Nicholas Diorio responds, "Probably the first time someone's laughed at a joke Roman's made in the better part of a year." Shive says, "Who are you?" Nick says, "The guy who helped vindicate a dude who was falsely accused of rape." Shive responds, "This is the saddest life. I'm finished." Nicholas says, "Nah, you're just chiming in on a topic you're woefully uninformed on." Shive responds, "Nah, I'm clued up on it all. I'm just laughing at how sad you are. Bye, it's home time." Nick then tweets these responses out and comments on it saying, "PewDiePie's editor Brad 2 tried to throw hands and got BTFO'd so hard by fans clowning on him that he deleted them all." Shive responds, "Lol," to which Nick reciprocates, also handing a lol over to him, to which Shive responds with, "Can I call in please?" Then Nick says, "Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, 3 p.m. EST. If you're looking for an interview, we would prefer your boss." So whenever there's an update in the ImAllexx Slazo story, it always seems to get worse, and nothing seems to be getting better, but luckily it actually has been getting better, or staying the same depending on who you talk to, because ImAllexx just issued an apology. ImAllexx's tweet starts off with saying, "Regarding Slazo and my involvement, recently I spoke to Slazo and discussed as well as apologized for my support of Shay's original post, and the way I handled the accusations that had been put forward. I came to the conclusion I had through multiple friends of mine reinforcing stories, as well as multiple other people coming forward privately with their own personal situations involving Slazo, which under the pretext I fully believed at the time. I should have waited for both sides of the story, and regret supporting the post without having all the information information and hearing Slazo's side. I've spoken to him since and apologized for jumping the gun, no matter how damning I believe the evidence was. It was a mistake to support the post, as no matter how much I believe the allegations were true, it does not excuse the fact that it should have been given to the correct authorities to deal with properly and privately. I regret giving my personal opinion on the situation as it was not necessary. I did so because I felt responsible as a friend of those involved, but also as a friend of Slazo's to not support the behavior he had been accused of, as I fully believed that it was completely true at the time. Regarding me doubling down, I very much believed all of the stories I've been given from multiple other people, which is why I was quick to dismiss the alleged victims that had approached me. Although that doesn't excuse my rash responses and poor handling of a delicate situation. I understand people are upset with my lack of response, but I have personally taken my time to respond due to recent events and constantly developing situations that have been happening privately. I removed my posts regarding the situation as I no longer stand behind them, nor do I believe in them anymore based off new information that I've been given.
So, I have a lot to say in regards to that post because he actually lied. He actually lied in that post based off what we know so far, and I will get into that and explain that, but first I want to go over everybody's responses to this on Twitter. The first one to come out and congratulate ImAllexx on finally apologizing to Slazo was Ricky Berwick.
Way to go, Alex! Right on! That's being a man! That's my daddy! Fucking man! My dad.
Kavos was the first one to reply, and he said, ImAllexx finally apologizes about the Slazo situation. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Alex apologized on his Twitter. My apology counter was about to hit 2 weeks, but in reality, this took over a month. Why? Honestly, it is unacceptable, especially from a commentator of his magnitude, but it is the right step forward. However, his credibility is completely fucked. I'm so glad we kept the pressure on this weasel. Remember, he tried acting as if nothing happened and tried sweeping it under the rug until he couldn't stand the heat any longer. Everyone involved made this apology to Slazo happen, and thank fuck we didn't give up. Why are people thanking Alex? This was a month overdue and was owed. Do not thank him for being a fucking snake, showing a screenshot of someone replying to Alex saying, thank you for addressing it calmly and in a mature way. Hopefully everyone will get off your ass about it. You don't deserve the harassment you've been getting. Kavos continues by saying, also don't forget that Alex genuinely was trying to cover this up. He hid comments on his channel with Slazo in it. Initially, he had no intention of apologizing until his own fans turned on him and his back was against the wall. Nicholas Diorio was the next one to speak up and says, breaking, ImAllexx has cleared up his involvement and recanted his statements regarding Slazo publicly. It reads more as a defense than an apology. However, it's more than we were given by a lot of the parties involved. There were some things I wish he talked about. Slazo staying with him, the bar story, comments made about Hyojin, and so on. However, I'm sure this will be enough for a lot of people, and that's okay. I'm more interested in how he addresses serious stories in the future and if he can learn. From this experience, this should be the end of the drama, and we can all relax now. You gotta wonder how much that instant sub loss on his upload yesterday, that has been relentless since then, contributed to this. Good luck in the future, ImAllexx. I recommend you stop trending topics and make funny videos. I tried to be as positive as I could with that apology. It's not even that it's a month late. It's the fact that the word sorry didn't appear. I feel like I was reading a politician's statement to a news website rather than Alex apologizing to his fans. But that's life. Contrary to popular belief, I don't always aim to be negative. I knew this was coming for about a week. I also know why we didn't get it until now, and that's a bit shady in itself. Kavos responds to him by saying, for sure. I would go as far as to say he had others help him draft it. Oh wait, that sounds oddly familiar. Tipster responds to ImAllexx's tweet by saying, finally, fucking hell. Now was that really that hard, ImAllexx? Jeez, this shit got dragged out way too long. But better late than never, I guess. Willie Mac Show said, I like it. He talked to Slazo himself. What more could you ask for? On to better memes. And then he makes a Twitter video about it saying, for all the people who still hate ImAllexx.
I see a lot of people not happy with Alex's apology. For Christ's sake, I just laughed at the fact that the dude signed up for shot put in Logan Paul's Challenger track games thing, and people were genuinely mad that I called him funny for doing that. People are saying that, you know, his apology's too late, all this shit, whatever. Like, that's fine. Do your thing. You can never trust him again. Sure, right? That's fine to me. But one thing I think it's important to remember is that he's like 20 years old, right? Let's face it, if your friend comes to you for rape and you're only 20, you know, maybe he's just not experienced enough to know how to handle that situation. And I do think he deserved a lot of the criticism he got. And I think he deserves to, you know, get criticized for coming out with an apology late, maybe. But for people thinking that I'm gonna hold a grudge against the guy, you're fucking crazy, right? I mean, I'm the guy who forgave Logan Paul first for filming a dead body. You could bet your ass I can forgive Alex for getting this wrong, okay? Like, it's cool, guys. Come to me. If you ever screw up, I'm the first guy to come back to. I'm always there. I'm forgiving as hell.
Harshi responds to this video by saying, I'm content with Alex's apology despite being quite late. People are out here saying he never mentioned sorry, but at least Alex said, I talked to him privately and have apologized for jumping the gun. And I think that counts as a sorry to me. Willie Mac Show then says, agreed, and then tags Nicholas Diorio, which he responds with, it doesn't cover half the shit it should cover. It's clearly rushed with many spelling errors, and he's blaming other people by the second paragraph. That's a no from me, dog. Willie, we can talk privately. Then he continues by saying, he was 17 when his friend Zap Die came to him. He was 20 when he covered James Charles. He was 20 when he had to relearn the lesson he learned the last 2 times. Slazo was 16, and Alex didn't hesitate to condemn him without his side of the story. I'm 22, and I wouldn't do that. Willie responds, not saying you have to forgive him. Slazo seems to have, and that's good enough for me. That's just how I roll. Nick responds, I get that. I think this is and has been a bit bigger than Slazo for him. I'm glad he has apologized. And that should be enough for this story, but unfortunately he has a history of doing the exact same thing. He's been incredibly manipulative and shouldn't be taken seriously. Keem responds to ImAllexx's tweet by saying, can we expect false rape allegations on Memulus and Willany from you? Isabel responds saying, Keem, can you shut the hell up? He's trying to apologize. We cannot fucking expect people to turn for the better if we don't fucking let them improve. Keemstar responds, a month later? He was exposed for straight up lying? Where's that in this post? This statement is just more lies, and I won't shut up, nor will any other YouTubers that know the truth. Keemstar then tweets out, here ImAllexx, I fixed your statement, so now it's truthful. And then this fake statement reads, I deliberately plotted, lied, and manipulated the facts to backstab my friend Slazo, so I could make myself look like a good guy online. I doubled down after Slazo was proven innocent because I was trying to maintain that good guy imagine, I think he was trying to say image there, that I had fabricated the sexual assault allegations on Slazo. I'm sorry it took me so long to apologize in the middle of this, but I was waiting to see if somehow I could get out of this without having to apologize. Unfortunately, there's no way to weasel out of this one, so I'm going to have to eat crow. Next time, I will be way more sneakier, and you won't catch me. I'm sorry, ImAllexx. Nicholas responds to this tweet by saying, jokes aside, at least this one says the word sorry. Danny replies, did I miss it where he explained the story where he was with Slazo and straight up lied about him taking advantage of a drunk girl? I feel like everything he said, he just blamed being given bad information. But wasn't there 1 or 2 things where he just straight lied? Nicholas replies, he lied a lot. This just doesn't do it for me. Juhu Dapai responds to Keem by saying, he got enough backlash from this. Leave him alone. It's hard enough to be him. Keem replies, for pushing false rape allegations and taking over a month to admit it? He's had enough backlash? Are you mentally sound? What he did was straight evil. And then Nick tweets out this hilarious video with the caption, my response to ImAllexx. Okay, it's totally not, and it's clearly a meme, but I couldn't resist spending the 5 minutes to make it.
Hello guys, I just want to put this in as concise way as possible, but this is my response to Alex in his Twitter apology. There's a limit on these, so if I'm brushing over other things, I'm trying not to. I just want to put everything in here in a place that's easy for people to get to. I want to make a statement, which is the fact that obviously I came out and criticized Alex when he posted his Twitter video, and obviously now Alex's apology has come out where he's apologized for some of the things that were put in there. My problem with Alex was him admitting to doing things behind the scenes. He spread a lot of rumors behind the scenes, and he was incredibly manipulative, almost straight up lying, which he didn't admit to doing in his apology, which for me is still disgusting. I don't believe he's innocent. I don't think he's innocent. Slazo is and has always been innocent. Alex threw many friends under the bus to try to push a certain agenda, and at the same time, the stuff that Alex glossed over is the stuff that makes me not want to ever support somebody who's capable of doing those things. Even the things he kind of did admit to doing, I really hope he gets help, because nobody should carry on doing what he did and try to, maybe he should just try to improve himself. himself, but I personally don't want anything to do with somebody who even managed to admit to some of the stuff he had apparently done, and that's literally it. That's how I feel about it. I absolutely accused Alex of many shady things, but afterwards he's come out. I really just don't want people to ever take his word seriously again. Honestly, I mean, he couldn't even say he's fucking sorry.
Okay, and now for my opinion on this entire apology. At first, I thought it was pretty good. I was very surprised that he admitted to believing the allegations even after Slazo's debunking video, because when Keemstar pressured him on this about a week ago, he kind of alluded to never calling Slazo a sexual predator or believing the allegations, but now he's straight up just saying he did believe the allegations, which is very good of him to be truthful there. Where he wasn't truthful though is in saying that he was friends with Shay and their friend group. Specifically in my call with him, he did mention that these people are not his friends and he does not like these group of people in the slightest. And luckily, this was actually reconfirmed in a DM conversation that was leaked where he says, I haven't talked to them in 2 years. I don't like them. But then in this apology, he says that he felt he was responsible to come out because they were his friends. Another lie, another inconsistency. I pointed this out on my Twitter by saying, you felt responsible as a friend, but you haven't talked to these people in 2 years and don't like them? Which one is it, ImAllexx? Why are you lying in your apology? Then I quote tweeted myself saying, now I'm just waiting for Keemstar to say this, save the images, and then tweeted as if he spotted the inconsistency himself. Then, not 2 minutes later from making that tweet, Keemstar tweets out the exact same screenshot saying, proof ImAllexx lied again. In his statement today, he said he trusted his friends, but when he was trying to distance himself from the Slazo situation, he said he had not spoken to these friends he trusted since 2017. He can't stop lying. Let it go, Keem. Not a fucking chance. I'm not Alex. I don't pander to viewers or popular opinions. I'm not fake. I'm Keemstar. Keem continues by saying, ImAllexx fans. Keemstar is bullying a 20-year-old. Do you have any fucking idea how cringy and stupid you sound? This is literally the fall of him, and it's not just from him lying and being a horrible person, his own fans are literally the definition of cringe. Jake Paulers are cooler. I don't know, the argument that you're bullying a 20-year-old? 20-year-olds have been legal adults for the last 2 years. You know, we can't treat 20-year-olds like children. Maybe we can't expect them to be as wise as 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, but still, if you're 20 years old, you're an adult. It's not like you're a child. It's not like you're a teenager anymore. I just think that argument is ridiculous. Moving on to our last tweet, Kavos tweeted out, how I feel right now. It's done. Well, with this new inconsistency we found, I don't really know if it's done, and there's so many other people who have doubled down on the false allegations made against Slazo, one of which being Weast, who still hasn't apologized for this comment.
I'm still not apologizing to Slazo. I'm apologizing to anyone who thought that I was calling someone a rapist.
It's been over 6 months since the Slazo versus ImAllexx drama happened, but believe it or not, new information is still coming out to this day, probably due to the fact that most of the drama happened behind the scenes, and we are relying on info coming out into the public to actually piece together what exactly happened. And we got a better picture of that when ImAllexx talked about it on the new True Geordie podcast that released this Christmas. Now, since it's been over 6 months, let me give you a bit of a refresher of what actually went down. So ImAllexx was good friends with a YouTuber called Slazo, to the point where he was actually living at ImAllexx's house for over 3 weeks. During this time, ImAllexx learned of a false allegation made against Slazo of him being a rapist. And instead of being a normal person and going to his friend to ask this about him personally, he decided to automatically believe the allegations, end his friendship with Slazo, and support the allegations once they were posted publicly onto Twitter. And then when Slazo vindicated himself and proved it to be 100% false, ImAllexx still believed that Slazo was a rapist due to some very normal interactions ImAllexx has had with Slazo in the past that ImAllexx misinterpreted as being rapist behavior. Let's first watch some of these podcast clips and then look into the Twitter reactions to them.
Did you know the moment when you fucked up?
Oh yeah, as soon as it happened. Not even when I said stuff. It was like, as soon as my mates all went, oh yeah, so-and-so's been accused of this, I went, oh, this isn't going to go well, because it doesn't ever go well. There's no way you come out...
But for you?
It was one of those things where as soon as they told me, I knew it was all over.
Right.
Because they called me and went, well, we can tell you or we can't. And I went, well, now you've said that, when it all comes out eventually, it will be either you did say something or you didn't say something. So there's no winning there.
So did you wrestle with any level of like guilt of what you'd actually done?
Yeah, well, it's like the first. I didn't actually go, oh yeah, let's just make some tweets about it and move on. I was like, oh, why aren't the police involved? And then everybody goes, the police will be involved eventually, but he could be doing this to other people.
It's because of the line of work that especially me and you are in. You're almost obliged to talk about that thing.
Well, it's not just that, but people around you go. People around you like, well, if you really think this guy is illegitimate, you should do something about it.
Exactly. But
that's where you go down. You go down this corridor of
ego kicks in.
That's a cultural side as well, though, where the first thought is to do that.
It is very much a commentary thing, and that's why I try to move towards what like the people like Cody Carr and Noah Miller are doing. Because you look at those guys, they never have these problems because they're not making serious like takedown videos on people. It's always communication, especially when you have jobs like ours and there's so much social pressure. It's like with the stuff that happened with me, it wasn't just like, oh, my mate got accused of some really terrible things and then like confronted him. It's like, no, 20 other full-time YouTubers went, if you don't go this way, we all think it's this way. They go, like you've got to really join in on this side. Like this is the way that it's like, this is the way you think it's going to go. And you're not thinking it going, oh man, there's a lot to gain from this. Nobody's ever thinking that. But it's one of those things where when you suddenly have like 20 people call you up, it's like a terrifying experience. And that happens a lot on YouTube behind the scenes that I think people don't realise. There's a lot of things that happen where 5 or 6 people get together and go, oh man, he meant it like this.
And a lot of people come to you specifically.
Keemstar reacts to the podcast by saying, yeah, true Jordy, if I'm welcomed, I would love to join you and the lads for Christmas 2020 next year, so ImAllexx's father can understand why I hate his pathological lying son. Let me know. Kavos then responds to him by saying, the Christmas podcast was insane. Alex literally sits there and lies about so much shit. I love that even his friends know that ImAllexx is a backstabbing cunt. Nicholas Diorio responds to Kavos by saying, mate, the peer pressure was too intense, mate. It's not my fault I accused someone, mate. 20 other YouTubers basically threatened me, mate. Keemstar then posts a meme of ImAllexx on Dr. Phil with the YouTube title, self-described rapist hunter says I love doing what I do, with the caption, Dr. Phil makes the best content. Nicholas Diorio posts another clip of the podcast onto his Twitter and says, I don't think anyone could have given me a gift the way True Jordy has. Merry Christmas.
If you're making a video on people for just doing like clickbait and stuff every 3 days, when somebody goes, this YouTuber may sexually assault people, and you don't say anything.
Sorry, don't put to me,
And then I back then, like, I've never made a video on a friend of mine, ever, even for anything.
Kavos then responds to it by saying, is this out of context? He seriously can't be saying this. Nicholas then responds, the context is pre-Slazo, but I think the live streams and podcasts with Zaptai easily predates this. Keemstar reacts to Nicholas Diorio's clip by saying, he can't stop lying, not even on Christmas. Leonad then responds to Keem with an image of an ImAllexx U2s with the hoodie altered to say, I accuse my friends of rape. Nicholas Diorio then proves that ImAllexx is a hypocrite from the previous tweet in this tweet where he says, then who made this stream on Ed? We gotta find. Showing that he actually did make a video talking about one of his friends being accused of sexual misconduct.
I am fed up. I'm really, really, really unhappy with him and what he's continued to do.
Kavos tweets out a part of the podcast and says, ImAllexx is seriously trying to say that he was peer pressured into pushing false rape allegations? What? Honestly, he is the biggest rat the community has ever seen.
With the stuff that happened with me, it wasn't just like, oh, my mate got accused of some really terrible things and then like confronted him. It's like, no, 20 other full-time YouTubers went, if you don't go this way, we all think it's this way. They go, like you've got to really join in on this side. Like this is the way that it's like, this is the way you think it's going to go. And you're not thinking it going, oh man, there's a lot to gain from this. Nobody's ever thinking that. But it's one of those things where when you suddenly have like 20 people call you up, it's like a terrifying experience.
Kavos then tweets out another clip from the podcast with the caption, here's ImAllexx talking out of his ass again. We were both offered to fight each other for Fame MMA. Apparently he didn't do it because of the guy running it, and that's the only reason yet. He didn't even show up to his own meet and greet when he heard I was going. If that is the only problem like you are claiming, then I can get another person to organize our fight. No problem. But let's be honest, ImAllexx, you were just chatting absolute shit as per usual.
I was asked to fight Kavos on the MMA.
So was I.
So was I.
Yeah.
We should have all done it.
I was
all
so
three of
close.
us.
Was you a no from the start? Because I was very
I
close.
faint up blood, so I've been
right.
My issue wasn't like actually fighting Kavos. That wasn't the problem. It was the fact that it was like arranged by the bloke who arranged.
Gid then responds to Kavos by saying, Kavos beefing with ImAllexx with a picture of someone just talking to a brick wall. Kavos responds, would have been funny if he wasn't literally talking about me in the clip I posted. Gid then responds, when he speaks about you, it didn't seem as hostile as when you speak about him. Feel like you shouldn't even be getting as bothered as you are. Kavos then replies, so? He has nothing to be hostile towards me about because I don't push false rape allegations and pretend my friends made me do it. Gid then responds, I completely understand that what ImAllexx did was wrong, but I think you should find another way to come at him that will have an effect, unlike tweets such as these. And then Kavos just responds with a simple, no. I don't know why, but I think the bluntness of that is just hilarious. Charlie Hunter says, Kavos, shut up you pussy. The fact you want to fight another YouTuber over some pathetic YouTube beef that only you care about is laughable. Alex doesn't care because he knows you're beneath him. Move on, you wet cunt. Kavos then responds, it's not about beef. I hate everything he stands for and does. Pushing false rape allegations, you think that's cool? But I am the wet cunt for calling him out, not the man who does it then tries to shift the blame on this very podcast. Lol. Fucking idiot. Kavos, I hate everything you stand for and do. So do most people on YouTube. You're a wet little bitch. So do everyone a favor and just disappear. Make it one of your shite YouTube videos. Hanging. Gone wrong. Kavos then responds, you are allowed to, but never accused anyone falsely of rape, have I? Corey says, what, am I missing something? As much as it would be funny to watch, why would anyone support it? Would be like fighting a twig and be no actual challenge at all. Kavos replies, people want the fight. We got offered a lot of money to do it. But yeah, it would be easy. Corey then responds, yeah, people would definitely watch it, and would set you up to fight some others. Maybe like Brad does banter, lol. But I think betting wise, no one would bet on Alex, lol. He's just scared, and rightfully so, cause he knows he can't win. But maybe he wants more money to take an L? Who knows? Someone called Nick the Oreo posts another clip of the True Jordy podcast, to which Kavos quote tweets it and says, lol, even your mates know you're a backstabbing little cunt, ImAllexx. Must feel nice to have that reputation.
I've been through 9 podcasts in 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's because you're a backstabbing little cunt.
Fuck that! Not all of them were sex offenders, only about 25%.
Let's be real, though. Let's be
You're
real.
swinging your
What
miss,
was his
Alex.
name? The kid who was on the Camcast?
Succulent Penguino then responds to Kavos by saying, the stands are coming, the stands are coming, to which Kavos replies, so it begins. And so it begins indeed, because now we are going to cover all of the ImAllexx Defender tweets that Kavos ended up responding to. Ryan says, give it a rest, to which Kavos responds, make me. Sam says, looks like typical banter to me, have a day off. Kavos then responds, I mean, my mates wouldn't joke about me being a backstabbing little cunt because it's not true. This is banter for sure, but it has merit. Your mom says, yeah, it's called banter. Something you won't fucking have because you're just friends with people who thrive off drama. Kavos then responds, the best banter is when it's true. Oh yeah, it is good banter. Your mom then replies, so you're saying that your friends wouldn't make fun of something stupid that you've done? Wow, nice friends you got there, mate. Kavos then replies, yes, they make fun of stupid things all the time, but not false rape allegations. They would probably stop being my friend if I did that. Your mom then replies, forgive him, and Alex isn't going to beg for your forgiveness as well. Kavos then replies, did you watch Slazo's upload on the effect of what ImAllexx and co did had on him? I advise you do. He clearly still resents Alex for what happened to him, and Alex again couldn't give a good apology, which took over a month to get out of him. By the way, this is new information that I haven't personally covered on my channel. Slazo did make a video talking about his experience getting cancelled, and it was rather interesting. No new information, but it does give a lot of insight on how Slazo was feeling during the situation, so if you have some time after this video, I recommend you watch that one. Either way, moving on, Ralph says, oh damn, looks like someone can't identify a joke? You sado. Put yourself in his shoes. Kavos then responds, the joke wouldn't be funny if it's true, so yes, I find the joke funny because it's true. Tom GW says, the fact that you took that as serious proves that you don't have mates that you can banter with. This is the most typical lighthearted banter I've ever seen. Go make some friends, mate. Cavos then replies, "What are you on about? Me and my mates banter all the time. You want to know why Lawrence's joke was so funny? Because it's true. Otherwise, the joke wouldn't have landed at all." Tom then replies, "But obviously they don't genuinely think he's a backstabbing little prick, because otherwise why the fuck would they have him on the podcast in the first place? The fact he's there shows they have a certain level of respect for him, and that it's simply a joke." Cavos then replies, "Yes, but in order to make that joke in the first place, he has to warrant being called that or the joke wouldn't have been funny. If he called Steven that or True Jordy, everyone would have been confused and it wouldn't be funny. Alex is a backstabbing little cunt. It's been proven multiple times. It's literally a fact, so that's why it's such a funny joke." Tom then replies, "Okay, fair point, I'll give you that. My question now is why do you care enough to still be banging on about it about 6 months later? Literally everyone has accepted he fucked up and moved on, but you haven't. Genuinely convinced you've got an erection for the man." The NDL responds to Cavos by saying, "It was a joke mocking people like you, but you can't see that because you're surrounded by yes men." Cavos then replies, "Wait, what? I can't see what?" Alex is a backstabbing little cunt. It's been proven multiple times. NDL then responds, "See what I mean? Missed it again. Lawrence was mocking people like you, constantly going on about it when it's all been and gone. It's been sorted now. Again, you missed that because you were surrounded by yes men." Cavos then replies, "No he wasn't. Alex was talking about how he's left over 9 podcasts, and Lawrence said that. It's true and funny. And yes men? What yes men? Alex is the only one surrounded by yes men, who try and cover his ass when he pushed false rape allegations." Now that's about it for the tweets on this topic, but I do have one more to go over. Keemstar asked what stories he should focus on for the next drama alert, and Nicholas Diorio responded with, "Apparently ImAllexx is a mega victim who was pressured by 20 unnamed mean YouTubers, and he's struggling to regain control of his spiraling career. I want you to do a drama alert on the dangers of #peer pressure."
You want to know why this is part 6 despite being a new situation? It's because in the first 5 parts, I covered ImAllexx making false predator allegations against a YouTuber called Slazo. After already going through the same thing with a false allegation against James Charles, and going through a similar thing years back with another YouTuber called Zaptai. And now he's done it for a 4th time. Yes, ImAllexx insinuated that Prez Hilton is a pedophile. So what was his reason for doing this? Well, it all goes back to a very popular underage TikTok star called Carly D'Amelio, and she posted this TikTok of her dancing in a bikini to an inappropriate song. So Prez Hilton left a comment on the TikTok saying, "Anyone else thinks it's inappropriate for 15-year-old to dance to this?" Carly replies, "I'm sorry, I'm just trying to have fun." Now you would think this comment indicates that he's anything but a pedophile, but apparently ImAllexx did not see it that way. This is how he rationalizes this comment into meaning that Prez Hilton is into young children.
Okay, well, how do I go in from there? How do I start? With a present sentence? Maybe. I'm just suggesting it. I'm just gonna throw that one out there. For 25 years to life. This man, who you see in this video, is attacking Charli D'Amelio, another TikToker, who's 15. And he's attacking her because she went to the beach. He made a video saying, "Oh, she's too sexy, so her parents should be ashamed."
My daughters are not dancing to songs about taking D on TikTok while dancing like grown women to that song in a bikini.
Now, hey, look, man, being out there going like, "Oh, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't let my kids do that. Oh God, if my kids did that." When you post videos like this.
And yes, we're talking Charli D'Amelio.
And yes, I'm obsessed over a 15-year-old girl. Does that upset you? Does that weird you out? Well, unlucky, I'm going to keep on doing it. Because that's what somebody would do, wouldn't they? You know, if a police go, "Oh, mate, maybe you shouldn't hang around schools," you don't go, "Hey, back at the school again." You stay away.
I think Charli's a sweet girl and talented. My real issue is with her parents. Why'd the dad and the mom leave that video up? I would have made my daughter take it down.
That's cool. You have kids, Paris. I'm going to say it again. Look after them. Please, instead of posting videos like this one. It doesn't mean that you're any less weird for having an obsession over this 15-year-old's life, especially when you yourself are posting these very sexual videos involving like 20-year-old kids.
So let me get this straight. Perez Hilton is questionable in the pedophilic sense because he makes TikToks gawking at 20-year-old kids. You know, 20, that age that is over the age of consent, which is 18. And then he's also weird for obsessing and attacking a 15-year-old girl. You know, that girl who has over 50 million followers on TikTok, and all he merely said was that the video was inappropriate and he criticizes the parents for letting her post it. Isn't Perez Hilton the guy who got big off making a celebrity gossip website? And he's talking about someone with 50 million followers. And because she's young, that makes him... Jesus Christ, these mental gymnastics to turn this into this is just insane. He equates interacting with the kid in any way to pedophilia very quickly within the video. It's like he always has pedophilia on the mind or something, I don't know. He just looks at something completely normal, like a lamppost for example, and he's like, oh shit, that's a pole near children. That's kind of sexually charged. Pedophilia? Now this video was posted by ImAllexx 6 days ago, so why am I talking about it now so long after it happened? Well, it's because this slipped under the radar for the better part of the week, until someone on Twitter who is known for digging up a lot of dirt on people, called Comment Cop, posted a video onto his Twitter gathering all the information in regards to the ImAllexx and Perez Hilton situation. I will leave this full video in the link in the description below for you guys to watch it, as we will be seeing clips from this video posted on Twitter later in this video. So I wouldn't want to show the whole thing for the sake of repetitiveness, and I don't want to take away some of Content Cop's well-deserved views. Either way, Colossal's Crazy responded to him by saying, "Fucking hell, that video is shit." BWC responds, "Which one?" To which Colossal's Crazy replies, "Yeah, I can see how that might be misinterpreted. The one Alex made." Kavos quote tweets Comment Cop and says, "Surprise, surprise, Alex does yet another oopsie, making yet another dog shit take. ImAllexx, when are you gonna realize commentary isn't for you anymore, bud?" So in this video, ImAllexx tears apart Perez Hilton for saying Carly D'Amelio shouldn't be posting TikToks in her bathing suit. Yet Alex made the exact same argument about Danielle Cohn. Funny that.
This man, who you see in this video, is attacking Charli D'Amelio, another TikToker who's 15. And he's attacking her because she went to the beach. But he made a video saying, oh, she's too sexy, so her parents should be ashamed. And yeah, there's weird stuff posted on TikTok, but wearing a bathing suit, that's what people wear to the beach. If you go to a beach, you'll probably see loads of people of all ages wearing a bathing suit.
Yeah, you look a little like an 18-year-old girl in this picture.
But she's not an 18-year-old girl, is she? So she shouldn't be posting like stuff online. Just me.
He then compares Perez Hilton, an internet gossip reporter, reporting on one of the biggest online celebrities, to a nunce, essentially.
And yes, we're talking Charli D'Amelio.
And yes, I'm obsessed over a 15-year-old girl. Does that upset you? Does that weird you out? Well, I'm unlucky, I'm going to keep on doing it. Because that's what somebody would do, wouldn't they? You know, if a police go, oh mate, maybe you shouldn't hang around schools. You don't go, hey, back at the school again. You stay away. Oh, how do I go in from there? How do I start? With a prison sentence? Maybe. I'm just suggesting it. I'm just gonna throw that one out there. For 25 years to life.
Keemstar reposts this clip onto his timeline and says, "ImAllexx, the biggest embarrassment of UK YouTube." Kavos continues posting about this on his timeline by saying, "Lol, ImAllexx criticizes Perez Hilton for being an adult, making videos on kids, even going as far as to call him obsessed about that, showing that over the past 2 years, ImAllexx has made 6 videos on Danielle Cohn, an underaged and often over-sexualized YouTube star." Bill Baines responds to Kavos by saying, "Lovely comments on Alex's video," showing some comments that people made on Alex's Perez Hilton video. The first one with over 5k likes says, This man gives me the most horrible feeling. Why is he looking at these young men in that way? That's disgusting. Another comment with 200 likes says, Paris Hilton deserves the world. Meanwhile, Prez Hilton deserves the electric chair. The next comment with 1.5k likes says, the police haven't taken him yet because they are too afraid to get close to him. And then the fourth comment he shows has 1.7k likes and says, I commented nonce on one of his video, replied saying, well, he disgusts me. Kavos quote tweets this and says, this is the kind of conclusion people will make because of ImAllexx's bullshit claims. He is constantly ruining other lives with zero research because he is full of shit. Turkey Tom responds to Kavos by saying, it doesn't help that his fans are brain dead. Connor responds to Kavos by saying, have a day off, mate. Kavos replies, have a day off what? Calling someone out who is abusing his platform by making false claims all the time? Oh yes, my bad. Does no one ever wonder why ImAllexx never responds to any of the controversy he gets himself into? Because he can't do it without making himself look like a liar. Ignoring it all is smart, because the majority of his fans will never catch wind of his bullshit. ImAllexx, endorsing a petition to get Prez Hilton removed from TikTok over making videos on kids, is so rich considering Alex has done things 10 times worse. Where is the Alex petition? He is much more dangerous.
There is now over 100,000 people who want Perez Hilton permanently banned from TikTok. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of them, so let's sign it. There we go, that's the T-Sister.
Someone called Rick T responds to Keemstar's post about Alex by saying, Kavos is worse. Kavos quote tweets this and says, oh no, I'm worse than ImAllexx. Seeing ImAllexx stands make up excuses for him.
But who can resist this?
Moving away from Kavos, the YouTuber Tommy C had a couple things to say not only about Alex but also his friends on Twitter. He posted this Twitter video with the caption, holding Alex accountable.
I got a news video. It's going to be on the main channel, Tommy C's SFTP, coming up real soon. It's encoding now. And I introduce a new idea when it comes to ImAllexx. If you guys don't know, he recently insinuated that Prez Hilton, who pretty much does the same fucking job that he does, is a predator because he watched adult males gyrate, yes, Prez Hilton's gay, in a dance or did a TikTok video with them or something like that. I mean, it is truly unbelievable. The kid was 20 and he's 42. I mean, really, are we going to start, I don't know, it's kind of homophobic. We're shaming people for being gay? I mean, does that mean, like, I'm 43. I can't look at fucking 25-year-old girls in swimsuits? Does that make me a perv or anything? Jesus. My wife's only rule is, like, don't fuck them. That's what it is. Yeah. But I want to introduce something. You know, this guy continues to get away with this shit because his 12-year-old fans. He didn't pay the price with James Charles. He didn't pay the price. He's paid a short-term price with Slazo. We know about the Turkey Tom video that just came out. Where he ruined this guy Zaptai's entire life and has never apologized for it. Maybe, and some of these guys follow me, so you know I absolutely mean it. They're big guys. Start holding Memulus, Marriott, Jordy, Willany, and anybody else that works with this guy. It's the only way he's going to stop. He's going to continue to sit there and call people predators, call them pedophiles with absolutely nothing. And that's his clout supply. It's time to start holding them accountable. If he was in a normal business, they would be holding them accountable for continuing to support him. I'm absolutely furious. Nothing is going to stop this fucking kid. He's going to continue to do it and ruin their lives. And you know what? If it's one of them, I'm gonna fucking laugh.
Colossal's crazy response to Tommy by saying, video, shit, thumbs up. Guilt by association, thumbs down. Augie RFC responds to him by saying, nah, Tommy is right. Same thing I said during Suzy Lou. It's time to hold people accountable for who they work with. I'm sick of this gay standard we have to hold, where we can't roast someone because it's guilt by association. If you associate with bad people, you get what you asked for. I hop in with my own opinion by replying to Augie and saying, Alex's friends are stupid as fuck for associating with him because their career is at risk. And I do think they should call Alex out, but I'm not gonna guilt them for not doing so. I think they are dumb, but not guilty or responsible. Augie responds, that's fair. No one is saying they are taking part in his shenanigans. It's just time to cut this guy off and let him rot. Tommy C responds to Colossal's Crazy's comment by saying, if I supported pedos, I'd be held accountable. What's wrong with holding accountable people who support false accusers? Colossal's Crazy then responds, because one is not the other, and your comparison is the extreme example. That is always the exception. Tommy then replies, look, this YouTube stuff is a biz. You can put the pressure on supporters making money with a false accuser. It's been done before. Colossal's Crazy responds, and I think it's a shit way to do it. Tommy then replies, agreed to disagree, bud. Sounds German responds to Colossal by saying, I get the sentiment, clown, but shouldn't a guilt by association line be drawn at some point? Some other point besides actual kid fuckery or murder or other extreme cases like that? Colossal then responds, yeah. Maybe. Comment Cop responds to Colossal by saying, I agree, but I think it's somewhat fair game when you got people like Willany posting shit like this in the midst of the Slazo drama. He then shows a tweet that Willany made back in July while the Slazo drama was going on, where he says, have you seen this, Kavos? Shocking if you ask me. Hashtag not my ImAllexx, obviously mocking the fact that Kavos even came out to criticize ImAllexx by showcasing a situation that nobody would call out ImAllexx for. Nicholas Diorio comments on all of this by saying, ImAllexx, laughing my fucking ass off. Why, dude? I literally just said yesterday that this dude stopped doing serious topics and covering stuff that could get him in trouble. And then this. Lol. Comment Cop just exposed Alex's hypocrisy, but also notified me that he has stolen Progerit haircut. Remember the time ImAllexx posted this cringe tweet about the breakup of 17-year-old Lil Huddy and the 15-year-old Carly D'Alminio? Well, if Press Hilton did that, he should go to jail. Showing the tweet that ImAllexx made on the 14th of April, where he says, Lil Huddy and Carly D'Alminio have broken up. Could life get any worse? Nick then follows us up by saying, why you obsessed over children, mate? Fucking Zaptai looking mate? And then he puts a /s indicating that this tweet is indeed sarcastic. Nick then shows his original response to ImAllexx that he made on the 14th of April, where he says, you were really interested in that 15-year-old's relationship, aren't you? He screenshots this and says, ha 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 ha, I was ahead of the fucking curb on this one. Nicholas Diorio then posted this clip of ImAllexx.
I'm 5'4", I'm just your type, I'm 21, just how you like.
So the YouTuber Alex Emsley, who also goes by ImAllexx, had a huge exposed document dropped on him last weekend by Alice Hees, who tweets it out with the caption, here's my statement on the situation I've been scared to speak out on. It's best it was made public how horrible this person with a platform is. I'd hate to see another woman go through this. Please read the statement before continuing. The statement starts out with a trigger warning, then she says, this is a sensitive subject for me, as I have struggled to figure out how to put it into words. I have been threatened by Alex to not come out with anything at all, or he will create a contradicting story to discredit my own, but I'm not scared anymore. No matter what is said in response to the statement, I know I've said my piece and can move on with my life. I made this document as a compilation of my experiences whilst being with Alex, and have put screenshots of these accounts under the corresponding paragraphs. This will be a long one, as I want to start from the beginning, so you can understand the full story and heavy burden this has been on me. We had known of each other for years before we interacted, and were seeing each other for a few months before anything was official. We started officially dating on March 17th, 2023, giving each other 100% of our attention, time, and effort with no arguments. After that, time passed, and small things became huge issues, which were over Discord at first. Alex felt that because I am home all day and work from home, that I would be able to call 24/7, and completely shut out any other social interactions I have with my friends. To avoid that, I invited him into my groups and stopped working as much. These small arguments worsened to the point where he would turn on his camera and start shouting at me on call, going as far to tell me to self-harm at this point, after I told him about my history prior. This would be accompanied by multiple horrible messages calling me a whore, a bitch, and slimy. He would also tell me that I caused arguments as an excuse for me to leave him, saying, I don't know how I ended up with someone like you. After screaming at me in calls and disregarding everything I have ever said, he would explain how it is always my fault and that I should apologize. That I should fix it and fight for him after he has made it worse by completely dehumanizing and degrading me. I would get breakup threats because I interacted with my followers' tweets, which I would then apologize for after he made it very clear he was upset, but demands more from me. This would be followed by continuing to call me a bitch and threatening, "I'm going to refollow everyone I unfollowed for you, if you are going to be like that." I found later on he was still interacting with many people he had old relations with, and found him stalking his ex with her old nudes in his phone. I'm going to link all of the horrible messages that have been sent to me. They consist of him calling me unlovable, whore, psycho, telling me he doesn't want to be with me, breaks up with me, then takes it back. Then after all these arguments, he apologizes and love bombs me for forgiveness. For context in regards to me, I have depression, and he made it severely worse when he would insult me and make me feel like he doesn't care or love me. I found it hard to stay happy every day dating someone who says these things so easily to me, feeling no remorse or guilt. He just flew past the days like nothing ever happened. This was immensely draining on my side. I don't know if this is just a me thing, so I've been scared to talk out about this because I'm worried I won't be easily understood. People will question why I even stayed, and believe me, I wish I could turn back time. But I believed his lies when he apologized to me, and I really tried to believe he would stop going so far if I asked him to. I thought I was good enough for him to stop calling me a whore, or tell me to die, or threaten to leave in every argument. Got to points in arguments he would poke until I gave a reaction, calling me names until I finally snapped. Whenever I would react, I would be threatened with a breakup. I changed myself by suppressing my emotions, and that I was not upset over previous arguments, because he would get angry and tell me to get over it. He would tell me, "I said sorry, so would you shut up?" These were one-sided narcissistic arguments, telling me my feelings meant nothing and that they were based on wank. But when he is upset, I get spammed in my messages about 100 insults until I say sorry, no matter who was at fault. He would tell me he can change my life forever, that I need him, and that I am nothing without him and what he does for me. He took out anger from his friends on me, telling me I can do anything I want, alone, without any of you. Work-related arguments would be weekly, nearly daily if I showed signs of me being sad over something he said to me. You should be fucking grateful that as someone with this experience I actually have tried to talk to you about something like that. This was him talking about whether I wanted to stream or make YouTube videos. If the conversation didn't go his way, or I said I didn't want to do a certain thing, he would blow up and get upset because I wouldn't do it his way, then continue to belittle me. I would always tell him I'm not with him for work talk. I don't care how much you can help me if all this will do is cause arguments. I don't care how successful I can be. He pushed it on me to take his knowledge and make videos with him, when all I want is my boyfriend. I only ever wanted something personal and genuine, and I never got that. He told me, "You were like everyone else. Stupid fucking idiots who think they know better than the only man who has successfully done it all." I said I wanted to stream on Twitch, and he gave me reasons why it wouldn't work, and reasons not to. I got sad because I was planning so much, set up my channel, and went to him all happy about doing my own thing, and he devalued it and called me small-brained. Alex would tell me he meant it when he said these horrible things to me, but would tell me he didn't mean it after he had calmed down. He told me to shut up and kill yourself, after I told him it was a dream of mine to expand into other platforms. He has called me the N-word after I've said sorry about the situation. I said sorry for telling him my goals and dreams, and he belittled them, all trying to take control of what I wanted to do. When I got sad, he got angry. "You could have listened to a master plan for free," he said. He would tell me to die constantly, told me that he didn't want me and that he could easily replace me. At this point in time, I have broken down to his level. I ended up calling him what he is, and lost all sense of reality. Because how can this be real? This can't be real. He can't mean any of this and still love bomb and stay with me, right? At this point, I'm so scared of starting any argument, so I say sorry excessively. After telling me he isn't mad anymore, he ends up telling me we are over and starting over again. Again, another argument about content creation. He goes, "It's easy to sit there like everyone else and cry about it when you're a jobless freak. Imagine trying to teach retards like you and my mates how to do this." I would reply by explaining how he was rude and that I got offended. He goes on to say, "N-word, that's the truth," and "Kill yourself. I just told you how to make 6 figures, so fuck off." I told him how I don't think I am good enough to do it, and he would just insult me more. We ended up going on holiday together to Italy in July, and an argument came out about when he was watching a video about a girl being hypersexual after trauma. I opened up to him about my SA, and the trauma that I have been through myself. In response to this, he tells me he doesn't want to know what has been done to me by other guys, and I ended up leaving into another room crying. He threatened to leave and get a flight back on his own. Taking into account this was only my 3rd time abroad, and he knew that, it would make me very upset and scared. Like he knew I needed him there with me. Bringing up weird shit on our first holiday. You ruined every moment. I have no fond memories with you. I spoke about something I went through and the trauma, opening up to him about my experience with SA, and this is how he responded. He ended up canceling coming to see me on my birthday, or forgot it, and went to see Star Wars with his friend instead of seeing me. When I told him it was my birthday, he ended up going out after the movie to grab a gift, and eventually came to my place at midnight. I spent the whole day waiting for him. He invalidates my feelings after I said I got upset about it. Tried to justify by hanging out properly before my birthday came. At this time, he was looking to move house, and I helped him. He assumed I was going to move in with him, without asking me beforehand. I was brave enough to tell him, I'm scared to move in with you because of how you treat and insult me, and begged him to stop doing it, and that he had to change. I ended up calling him what he is and standing up for myself. No, it isn't pretty. He proceeds to tell me to die in a hole, you sad little c***. After all I asked was for reassurance. Fuck our anniversary. I'll take someone else out next week. You are nothing without me. I don't want you, lol. I put up with you. Please bury yourself in the fucking garden. Die. Just die in a fucking hole, you dumb c***. I called him abusive and he calls me a melt. I told him I was going to bed, having not had any previous argument, and this started a clash because I said it in a bad tone. He goes, I'm going to fucking kill you, and I'm going to break your neck. After that argument, the same month as when we moved in with each other, this is when things got more real for me, and I decided to start noting things down, recording, and texting my mom. We had the worst arguments I've ever experienced with anyone, but after the move it became even worse. On the 4th day of living together, on the 19th of October, he had taken it to the next level and got physical in a fight. It started as a screaming argument where I begged him to leave me alone and to just stop. I ended up trying to get away from him and he followed me. I went to walk downstairs and he grabbed my hood and pulled me back till I fell on the floor. He told me that I'm not getting away, so I got up and made a run for the bathroom. He gets in my way and grabs me. He puts me in a headlock and covers my mouth because I'm screaming for him to get off of me. I got to the bathroom and locked it behind me, and he screams from the other side calling me crazy, telling me to leave the house after I asked him to leave me alone. Some other days after that argument, he would scream in my face telling me to kill myself multiple times. In arguments over small things. He would walk away then come back angry as if he couldn't leave without screaming, having me back down and be silent until I broke down. This evolved to the point where I would be shaking and scared for my life every time he came close or was in the same room as me whilst arguing. He still blamed me for our arguments. And to get back at me, he started with small petty things, like breaking my glasses without me knowing, and throwing them away in the trash. He even helped me go look for them, pretending he was innocent until I finally suspected he did indeed throw them away, and he laughed whilst admitting doing so, acting like it wasn't a big deal. I ended up feeling detached from reality because I woke up depressed daily. Some days I didn't want to be near him, or be intimate with him. And this would spark arguments and he would get angry at me for still being upset over something he had done a day or a few days before. I was so disgusted by him and his actions towards me, I didn't want him to even be near my own cat, calling him his when he wasn't, and making shitty jokes about taking the cat away from me. This would always end up in me picking up Bear and leaving the room. He ended up being secretive over the phone, to what I then discovered was him stalking his ex on all social platforms. It's been years since they broke up, and found her old not safe for work pictures he kept of her. He said sorry, and that was it. The 28th of December was the day I decided to no longer put up with his behavior. I was getting the house ready for his parents to come over for dinner, as Alex did not clean or prepare anything. He must have thought I was angry at him because I'm cleaning the kitchen. He was constantly asking me if anything is wrong. I tell him multiple times I'm fine and nothing is wrong, I just want to clean. He started shouting, getting hysterical thinking I'm lying, and that I'm pissed off. I say very few words due to the fact that I am mentally drained. I had nothing left in me when we had these arguments. I barely said anything. He asked for tasks he could do to help in panic. I tell him to wipe the sides of the kitchen counters, take out the bins, etc. He starts screaming after I gave him more than one task, telling me he couldn't handle more than one at a time. So after he overreacts, I start to walk away. On my way out of the kitchen, he kicks me in the back, and I turn and say nothing. At this point, it was the second time he'd hurt me, and I was scared, so I texted my friend to pick me up, and I started packing. He follows me around the house screaming random things at me, trying to justify his actions for going too far. I recorded this because I was scared he would hit me again. I say nothing, and I am panicking to the point where I am sweating from fear, as he is following me, screaming at me, calling me the N-word, and useless, etc. And with this, she attached a video to her original document titled, "Following me after he kicked me and I'm packing up my things.mp4. Here is that video.
Over what? I don't understand, because I ain't got anything to fucking be stuck up over. But for some reason something isn't good enough for you. You get to do whatever you fucking want all day. It's like, and then you look like a fucking miserable fucking little cunt all the time. Like, your face is annoying to look at, like when I come downstairs. Like, I'm actually fed up of looking at you. Which is why I sleep downstairs, because I don't want to have to go upstairs and, oh, you're taking all the covers. It's like, fucking woman, just like, fucking ask me to buy another one, or stop fucking complaining. Like, nothing, the thing is, it annoys me, is nothing needs to be an argument, because everything is fixable. Buy a new duvet, I sleep downstairs. But no, you've always got to act like none of this stuff, because you don't actually try and fix any of your fucking problems. Like, it's infuriating at this point. Like earlier, you're miserable about making a kitchen. All you have to do is say what it is and it fits. It's fine. You don't have to, like, you don't clean up after yourself. Nigga, neither do you. So, we're even. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I don't go around fucking complaining about everything that you don't clean up after. Why? Because you don't talk about it in your fucking little small brain. You're not even honest to pay for any of it. So, who really fucking cares what you have to say? And what does it even fucking matter? If you want to clean up, I'll fucking hire one. It's my money. But this is the thing, even right now, you just ignore all of that. I'm giving you options for everything, you just ignore everything. You're not actually trying to sort out any of these problems. And if you've got a problem with bins, man, why don't you fucking call them? Why does it have to be me? You can fucking call people, you can get it sorted, you can take them out if you want to. But no, because Alice doesn't actually fucking do anything. I'm trying to fucking, right now, I'm spending pretty much fucking every single day trying to figure out where fucking 75,000 fucking pounds has gone. And whether I'm ever going to get it. And then any of my future YouTube revenue. Because the company's holding my channel fucking hostage. So yeah, sorry I forget about to fucking clean the side sometimes. I got bigger fish to fry. And I still have to post.
Go away.
You just don't think about any of that.
Go away.
Such a fucking woman.
Go away. So are you. Ironically.
Huh?
So are you.
I tried to stop this like 7 times.
Then you could have stopped. It was you. It was all you.
I tried to stop
Go
it.
away.
I did try to
Go
stop
away.
it.
Go away. Just go away.
Infuriating.
Yes.
Like, if you had to do half the shit I had to do, you would understand why loads of stuff doesn't get done. You don't even know the fucking
Go away. Just go away.
You upload one
Go away.
half-assed
Go
video
away.
every 3
Go
weeks.
away.
And it does terribly.
Go away. Go away.
Well, I slept up here because you made me. I wanted to sleep downstairs so I could fucking actually wake up on time today.
I didn't make you.
Yes, you did.
No.
You were throwing a fucking fit.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Well, you can stop this right now.
Yeah, shut up. You're following me and going on. Fuck off. Please.
After I left, I later picked up my things after he threatened to throw them outside. I found everything on the floor and taken apart. The keyboard was smashed and scattered everywhere. He claimed the keys had fallen off of my keyboard when he was packing it all away. When I got home and plugged everything in, I found the monitor screens were both smashed to bits, the keyboard broken, and the camera too. She then shows the pictures of that, and continues by saying, after I ended the relationship, he tried to manipulate me, telling me we just need time and that he will change, and begged me to give him a chance to change and make things better. This went on for months. He kept doing this, then getting angry when I didn't give back the same energy. Of course, I didn't, because I came to the realization that I was abused, lost, and had no idea what to do at the time. He started doing little things he knew would get my attention, in an attempt to spark any conversation, like following exes or people we argued about, girls he slept with and kept pictures of. Started trying to take me back into the house, telling me he's put the bins out and asking me to come over for dinner. He ended up arguing with me over situations, with me not wanting to give him time or attention. Of course I don't. I left him. He abused me. He couldn't accept this. I ended up blocking him and he finds another social platform to message me on and argue. I blocked him again, so he ended up messaging all of my accounts, including the account I made for my cat Bear, asking and begging for a phone call so he can move on. After everything he did, he was still thinking about himself and how he could make it better for him. I kept telling him that I didn't want to call or meet him. Eventually he tells me I deserve better and gets all sorry for himself after he realizes I'm actually not coming back. He sends me apologies and owns up to everything he's ever done to me in voice notes and videos crying while still begging me for a phone call so he can talk or move on. I don't and won't ever want to give him that. And with this, Alice attached a voice memo Alex left her titled, "It wasn't your fault.wav. Here is that voice note."
Sorry, my phone cut off. It wasn't acceptable behavior, like in any way, shape or form. It was insane. Like, I guess I've just been stuck in that cycle for so long that I felt like I could do no wrong. I felt like I was the fucking, oh, look at me, I do all this fucking work and I do everything and I try and do this and, just nobody's appreciative and, I know you appreciated it and I know that you appreciated the effort that I used to put in. And then I just stopped because I had you and you're my girlfriend and we lived together, and the more further we got through our relationship, the less effort I put in. And if it wasn't for you leaving, I might never, ever have changed my ways. I might have just continued on like that. At the end of the day, the only thing that's important is that I didn't listen to you. You were right. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. I was impossible to work with. I didn't make it easy. I constantly thought inwards about myself and not about you and what was going on. I didn't make any attempts to change. I didn't make any attempts to fix my life. I made excuses. And it got to the point where I wanted to be alone, because if I was alone, nobody could tell me that I was fucking up and that I was doing anything wrong. And for the first week that you weren't here, I just spent the entire week doing nothing. And after that week, I realised just kind of like how fucked up my life was, and I have made attempts to try and fix it. I have a schedule, I take out the bins, I look after the cats. I'm like a functioning person. I go out for my bike ride. I've been sorting out my doctor's appointment, even though it's bloody hard in the middle of fucking nowhere. I am just like so frustrated because I've been doing all of that, but then I've been getting on with you, and instead of like apologizing, I've been trying to just be like, oh no, look, I'm good now.
Like, I'm perfectly fine now. I'm like a person. Everything's great. And I realise that must come across as, like, so dismissive to you. Or also, like, why is he doing that stuff now? Why is he being like this now? Why couldn't it have been like this back then? And then you get upset or angry, which is fine and understandable. Or I do something to upset and anger you, like following some fucking idiot on Twitter or Instagram, some woman. And, yeah, you must think, like, oh, this guy's, like, he's just a fucking cunt. And he's being a cunt, and he's not stopping being a cunt, and he's not gonna apologise for what I did, and he's not gonna try and make it work with me. He just kind of wants me to be here. He doesn't want to lose me. I was trying to be, like, too cool and nonchalant at points, and then I would let it slip how uncool and how not well I was taking everything, and by that I mean my behaviour. I haven't been lashing out at you because of the fact that you left me. I've been lashing out at you because of the fact that I didn't fix my stuff. And I think what's worse, I'm being completely honest here, because I don't want to leave anything off the table at this point, is that, like, I generally had a conversation, like, with my friends a few months ago just about, like, how much I feel like, you know, I've just, like, I don't feel good about myself, and I would wake up a lot of the times when I was with you, and I'd think, I knew that I, like, didn't deserve to still be with you. And instead of fixing it, I was just like, oh, I've already fucked it anyway. I became worse. Like, I sabotaged it. And it was intentional, because I knew that I was being shitty. And I just thought, oh, it's already too late. And it's really fucking piss poor. Obviously, it wasn't as clean cut as that. A lot of this stuff has been really complicated to work out, you know, because I blow hot and cold. You've seen me. I'm apologising 1 minute, shouting the next. Angry 1 minute, please come here, hold me. You know. It's like, I just feel like I've been really battling through this very weird thing. Also, you know, with issues we'd have, you did this. Oh, wait, no, I see you didn't. It's okay, don't worry about it, forget about it. But it doesn't matter. I opened up a wound, and it scars, and the scar is always there. Just because I feel okay about it now doesn't mean that you did. And when I used to say stuff about, like, why can't we just move on, it's because I felt like I felt like I was comfortable, and I didn't make the effort to see if you were. And if you weren't, because I was, I didn't understand why you couldn't be. Now, I don't really know what that is. But I know that it's wrong. And I know that I knew of it. And to be honest, I thought that at a certain point, when I was sleeping on the sofa and stuff, I convinced myself that that's what you wanted. You obviously didn't. So I'm not saying you wanted it and I did it. As in, I convinced myself because I was making an excuse for myself. Not as in, I was doing it for you. I don't mean if I say anything along those lines, that's not how I mean it. I wasn't doing it for you, I was doing it for me. It was easier to avoid you. I wasn't putting the effort in. Because you obviously had said, like you have on this, like, give me time to come back, talk properly, apologise, I need time to process stuff. And I wasn't doing it. And then I started doing it almost like out of spite. Like, I started doing it being like, oh, yeah, well, I'm sleeping on the sofa now. Isn't this what you wanted? Isn't this what you wanted me to go away? Because I'm such a fuck up? It was like self-pitying, self-absorbed bullshit. And, yeah, it's just really, like, fucked up thing to do to you at the end of the relationship. So I know why you left, because at that point, there was, like, no love. At least I wasn't showing it anyway. A kiss when you're playing League probably was more
annoying than anything, because you know I was probably doing it to avoid our problems. You know, I got too reliant on you putting me in my place and then you forgiving me. Like, it just became a cycle. I allowed you to be the fixer-upper of our relationship, and it wasn't right, you know? And then I made everything worse. There's so much more that I could go into detail about and talk about. I don't know, really, like, there's a lot. It's sometimes, like, hard to keep on track, and, you know, but I feel like, right, like, you know, that's something that I wanted to say on top of everything. I just want to make it really clear that, like, it's, like, it was me. And anything that I said before in any argument, I have looked back at all of them. I went back and read them. I read old iMessages from us from the beginning of the last year. I could see how I caused everything. Jealous about you playing games with your friends because I wanted you to dedicate your life to me. You know, not in a fucking weird way. I just, like, I wanted to run off into the sunset with you. I was madly in love. But probably, you know, I had, oh, fuck, my toe. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ow, fucking hell. I was madly in love, and, I wanted to just fucking keep you as my own. I don't want anybody else to have your time or anything. And, yeah, it's fucked up because, like, now I understand it. Like, when I started playing games with my mates, I didn't have, at the time, I was just working. Like, I was jealous of what you had, and I wanted to be involved because my friends had stopped playing games ages ago. Like, it didn't really talk. Like, everybody had moved away. Like, at the time we met, the only thing I had going was making YouTube videos and you. And, you know, that's why for the first, like, 3-4 months, like, I was just, like, constantly obsessed. And then I did try to make it more healthy. That's why I started playing games with my friends. But even then, like, I started to do that at the point where I should have been giving you more attention. Like, I was doing everything in the wrong order. And for the wrong reasons. And I am deeply sorry for that. And I just wanted to make that clear, that I can see every single direction where I went wrong. And obviously there's more stuff that upset you. You know, and, you know, my behaviour recently, like, after that, you know, that's just a horrible misplace of my own ego. Like, I have wanted you to run back to me, and I wanted you to, you know, be forgiving. I wanted you to just kind of go, yeah, that's good enough, Alex, you've tried, or we'll work on it. And you did do that. It's the worst part, is you did do that. And at the time, I wanted so much more. I was, like, so desperate for you to just, like, fucking come back home. That anything else that wasn't that just made me so frustrated, because, you know, I felt like it was slipping away. But not just that, I felt like, you know, I even said to you, like, I'm worried that I haven't got to a place. I was still being vicious and lashing out at you and being angry. But I was, like, using it as, like, an excuse to fucking do it. Being like, look, I might do it. Like, it was like, it was blackmail. Like, I was being like, you should call me, because if you don't call me, you're going to lose the apology, and I'm going to be all angry. And it's because I couldn't control my emotions at all. And I wasn't trying to. I wanted to. I felt like anytime you pulled away, I wanted to just burn everything down. That was just where my brain went to. Just fuck everything. Yeah, obviously, I'm not at that place anymore. But I was for, like, 4 fucking months, so that's way too long. Obviously, there are points where I was doing better, But I wanted you to move at my pace. And obviously I was sprinting because I did know the damage I'd done. So I was trying to push you too fast and further than you wanted by showering you in gifts and sending you messages and trying to call you and being like, let's meet up and all of that. I should have done it all in the first week. I'm really deeply sorry that it took me this long to really reflect properly on everything. I was still victimizing myself, and it was wrong of me, and I should not have made that even more of an issue for you. Just really I really wasn't responsible. I wasn't being responsible, I mean. Because I was responsible, but I wasn't being responsible for your feelings. And, you know, I can't believe that I was, how I was thinking. I'm sorry that this is super long on top of everything I've already sent you. I'll cut it here and wait for you to respond, and then, maybe I'll send more or whatever. I just want you to know that it's not your fault. And it wasn't your responsibility to fix me. And it wasn't your responsibility. I only came to this conclusion because I had to do it myself. I had to go through this to get to this point, to figure this out. You didn't have to. You don't have to be a part of this. You don't have to have this happen. I should have done this in my own time, on my own accord. But I chose to bury my issues before fixing them. But it's not you. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. You're not responsible for this. You're not responsible for what happened. You tried your best. It's nothing to do with you. It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's not because you're lesser or because you have issues. It's not because of that. You were fine. It's not because you... It's not because of you. It's nothing to do with you. You were so open with me about so many things. I knew how you felt about all the stuff that I used to make excuses as to why I was feeling that way. Sorry. I knew how you felt about everything. We spoke about everything. We covered everything. We buried everything. We'd have conversations about everything. It took me to meet your friends to stop being a fucking bitch about them. That's not acceptable. You shouldn't have been a bitch about them in the first place. They were lovely people. I trusted them. Obviously, the recent stuff was kind of sucks, but that wasn't your fault. And, you did actually tell me, and you were upfront and honest about it, which is more than I could say for how I've been. And instead, I used that to call you a liar. So I understand why you, I understand it's my fault why we have a lot of all of the issues. Sorry, not a lot. I'm not trying to let myself get off the hook. All of them. And with work and stuff, I know that you're just trying to enjoy it. And I was making it unenjoyable for you because I wasn't having fun. So I believed that everybody else shouldn't have fun and that you shouldn't have fun. And that I convinced myself that life is miserable and life is fucking putting up with stuff. And, I just remember moments with you where I was my happiest and, sat in your bedroom. Just me and you, just lying there together. And, it should have been that all the time.
And when we got Bear, or you got Bear, sorry, still doing it, you know, just how happy I was for you, because I thought it would help you heal. But I was right there just making stuff worse. I made them, you know, even your relationship with the cat, like, I was upsetting you. And because I was being selfish and being like, why doesn't she, you know, I was like, why doesn't she want to share the cat with me? And it's because of the way that I was acting. And I knew that, by the way, it's not me, I didn't just figure that out. Like, I knew that back then. I was like, oh, of course she's going to take the cat away from me. I'm being a dick. Why would she want a cat near me? She doesn't want the cat to be attached to me because she probably wants to leave. And I felt that at the time, and instead of doing anything about it, I just fucking moped and sulked like a fucking child. I'm sorry for getting emotional. I'm just really angry at myself. Because you were the best. And I was the fucking... Oh, God. But you were... You know... And even all the way back to when you said that stuff about the bipolar disorder. And I was mean. I read that text the other day. And I'm so angry. Like, why was I like that to you? I know what I meant at the time, but I was making it about me. And you said that, you knew that. And I did apologise back then. But I didn't change any behaviour. Like, I saw you say that and I thought, oh, that's an excuse for why she doesn't text me. That's an excuse for why she doesn't want to talk to me. Because I was down your throat. And in reality, you were just trying to say it's not my fault and I'm doing my best. But instead I thought you were using it because I was so convinced myself that like, you were out of my league and that I didn't deserve you. And also that I was going to fuck it up. I'd convinced myself that you were always looking for a way out. When in reality, you just wanted me to be normal. You didn't want my money. You didn't want anything from me, apart from me to just be what I could be all the time. And I'm so sorry, Alice. I'm so sorry. I let you down. And, I don't deserve to be forgiven. I don't deserve anything. I should be held accountable for my mistakes. To you, it was wrong. And I'm sorry, but it's taken you to do everything in your power to really make me understand it. I really held on to the last minute to not do this. Like, I tried my best to avoid this. And I don't know why. Because if I'd have done it, if I'd have actually just truly been like, I fucking suck, I just didn't want to admit it because honestly, I had convinced myself that my ego was the only thing that was keeping me going. I'd convinced myself it was the only reason I was working. I convinced myself it was the only reason why I could get anything done. And that if I didn't have my ego, then I wouldn't be able to work. And I'd give up on everything. And I'd quit. And then, you know, I'd give up on life. And I'd just be this fucking mopey loser. When in reality, I think if I'd have just given up on everything, I would have been happy with you. But instead, I convinced myself that this fucking terrible behaviour was powering me like a fucking machine. And I told myself that without it, I would not be able to work and make myself do stuff because I beat myself up all the time to work. I don't do it for fun. I wasn't doing anything out of enjoyment. I was doing it like, I've got to fucking do this. If I don't do this, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to fuck stuff up. Nobody's going to want to be around me. Nobody's going to be friends with me. But in the process, you know, I was just pushing you away. And like you said it the other day that you'd rather have nothing and be happy than have everything and be miserable. And You know, I would do anything in the world to have absolutely nothing right now apart from you. I would trade all of this, everything here, because it's worth nothing. It's not worth fucking anything, it's just built on being miserable. You were the only thing I had that I actually enjoyed. And I convinced myself that somehow that loads of it was fake and wrong, and I used it to hurt you. I'm gonna leave this here. I don't know what you'll have to say, and I understand. Really, whatever happens, like, I'm not gonna hold anything against you. Like, it's not your fault. I don't hold any of it against you. I don't hold anything. I understand. Like, I do. And I'm sorry for crying. I just, you know, when I start, I don't open up ever because I have kind of shut all of this stuff down for so long. Like, I hadn't cried in forever. You know, the only time I ever cried is when I apologised to you, and that was because I realised kind of how much I'd fucked stuff up, and, you know, seeing you hurt is just the worst. I don't want that. I don't want to see you hurting. I want that less than anything in the world. And I'm sorry for putting you through so much.
After I explained to him how he was abusive, he claimed that I was abusive too, to try and spark a reaction, as afterwards he said, "I'm joking," and "I didn't mean it like that. You didn't wrong me like I did you. I know that." He continuously begged me to call him so he can apologize and wanted me to forgive him. He ended up sending things to my house like teddy bears and flowers, his hoodie that has been sprayed heavily with his aftershave, and a letter to try and achieve this. He mentions, "I wish you had broken up with me," to my face. I did, when I walked out the door with my things after he kicked me. She then shows the letter that Alex wrote, which starts off with him saying, "Dear Alice, I'm so sorry for not fixing my behavior before, and I understand this might be too little or too late. I hurt you deeply and will spend forever trying to make that up to you. I'm sorry for blaming you for how I acted. I didn't take responsibility for how toxic I had become. I should have never made excuses for shouting, insulting, and pulling you. I regret our last night more than anything in the world. I'm writing this because I want to show you how much I regret and am ashamed of hurting you. You are my world, and every day without you has been eye-opening to how you must have felt. I'm not looking for forgiveness. I will spend every day trying to earn your trust. I am writing this on the chance that I can work to be able to have that chance. I would do anything to win you back. You were right, and I'm sorry I didn't listen. You were the love of my life, and I will never forgive myself for hurting you. I will spend every day working towards fixing what I broke. I promise to never downplay or ignore you ever again. I took this time to reflect on everything, and I'm making steps to put myself right. There's so much more I could talk about, but I really don't want to relive it any longer. This was an awful toxic relationship. I should have left just 2 months in, knowing and finding out the kind of person he actually is. But that's what happens when a narcissist meets an empath. They feed off it. I had communicated my best, made him aware of what made me uncomfortable, and it wasn't listened to. In no way am I trying to make myself look as if I never said anything mean. I went through months of this horrible treatment that words like these became normal for when arguments came about. Words no longer held weight towards the end. I stooped down to his level and became reckless with my language, to try to prove the point of, this is how you treat me, so have it back. I was pushed to the point to react, and I'm so sad it got to that toxic point. But the extent this went with him saying death threats and physical acts was too far. This consisted of a lot of reactive abuse, and I lost myself. I understood he had his own mental health struggles, but it would and will never excuse the amount of trauma he put me through. He went into this with many issues already, and projected them all onto me. He knows and admits to this. I want to also mention I know my mouth isn't clean. I swear for England in every sentence I speak, so I definitely gave it back a few times when I got tired and pushed over the edge. I feel it's necessary to add that. You can only take so much of someone belittling you and telling you they don't love you and that they hate you the whole time you are together. When you are meant to be in love, it tears you apart and changes you. Since all of this happened in public have speculated on their own, from my vent posts and interactions, interactions, which I want to tell you is a cry for help, not attention. I've had threats of story manipulation from Alex, so I want to clear all of these up before he gets a chance to try and victimize himself and disregard everything he's done to me. I'm not afraid to own up to anything I've done, because I only ever reacted after the abuse was drilled into me. I had told him to stop saying weird things to the cat. He was joking about taking him away. And why would I let someone who told me they'd break my cat's neck near my cat? This was an argument round mine, so there is no text. He then goes on to say I have punched him in the face over the cat. This is Delulu Island we're on now, because he's trying to grab onto anything he can to create his own story. This didn't happen, and I couldn't tell you where he cooked this up from. This was from an argument where he was being horrible, had the cat in my arms and came up to me making jokes about taking him away. Alex was in my face all over me doing this, so I pushed him off of me. I mentioned to him that I didn't find this funny and he carries on. I have the threat messages and the real messages at the time of the event he was trying to manipulate. There are so many cases where I ended up taking Bear into another room, saying that taking the cat off him is starting an argument when I only did it after he said weird things to him. Acts like a child had his toy taken away, when realistically I was uncomfortable with him being near my cat, after saying what he does. These texts are also after the first time he dragged me in an argument, so I'm very much unapologetic in everything I say and toxic back. You can see how things get worse and worse, and I stopped caring about my words because I'm constantly drained by hearing this abuse in person. It took a toll on me and my mental health. The last story he will manipulate is from September, in his old flat. We're in a heated argument screaming at each other, where he was in my face belittling me for everything I do and have ever done, calling me horrible names. Every insult you could think of came out of his mouth to me. Whore, slag, bitch, nobody. I started crying and he looks at me with a straight face and sighs, calls me boring and laughs. I ended up defending myself. I slapped him in the face. This is out of character from me, but he was screaming in my face abuse. I was backed into a corner not knowing what to do. This happened when I grabbed my things and left the flat and called my friend to tell them everything that just happened. Alex spams me to come back, and I end up giving in and going back because I'm scared. For legal and obvious reasons, I won't attach all the evidence I have, but in due time it may be made public. He has tried to get me to stay quiet online and has suggested he would deny all of this. If this happens, I will release more undeniable evidence. And speaking of evidence, there were a bunch of text messages and screenshots corroborating what Alice was saying in this post, but for brevity's sake I just decided to read her summaries of everything instead. If you want to see all that text proof, it will be in the description below, but one thing I do want to show you that she attached are the clips she recorded of Alex being abusive to her on Discord that were conveniently gathered up and shared by Chantelli and Teresa on Twitter. Here are those clips.
Sorry first.
So I'm a fucking whore mouth bitch retard cunt.
Is it generally because you're just fucking brain dead?
Yeah, I'm very brain dead, yeah.
Is that why you decided to go on the fucking offensive instead of the maybe
offensive.
Okay. I don't know what to call what you did. It was weird. It's always weird. You always take the fucking weird route. Just do the normal route, which is just do the normal route, but a normal girlfriend.
You're acting like this is all just me, and that's something you really need to fucking fix.
I'm gonna fucking bash your fucking head against the wall with a brick if you don't shut the fuck up. Because this one, genuinely, this one, you fucked this, royally fucked this. The thing about you, and this is the thing, and this is why I fucking go round and round in circles. I join Cool, and when you're talking to me, going, this is the thing, even though now, when it's too fucking late, you admit that you did everything fucking wrong. But when it actually matters, when you should lay down like a good fucking dog, you don't fucking do it. You fight for some reason. I don't know why you fight, because you're losing, because you end up admitting that you fucked it all up anyway. So it's just fucking weird. And I know that you're going to end up admitting that you fucked it all up, which is why I see like massive issues there. And you think you can just fucking ignore them because like, well, what's the worst that can happen? I don't know. Your boyfriend's a fucking famous internet celebrity and doesn't trust these people because he has to keep his circle small. Because you might not have anything to fucking lose, because your life might be down the fucking drain, but I still have quite a lot that I would like to fucking give. You're making it incredibly fucking hard for me. Just like Lewis did.
Yeah.
I fucking hate all of you. You guys are fucking like I can't make any videos of Paul Breach. What judging mental is. I think I may have said like 100 times to the point where it's actually really hard to follow what I'm saying because it's so flexible. I've gone, you could do this, but you might be able to do that, but you might be able to do that, and you might be able to do this, and this might work, but you might be able to do that. And it sounds fucking mental. I don't even understand how you could possibly actually follow along to it. Like most of my friends struggle to actually understand what I'm saying. But that's why I'm a professional and you're all not. Because and then when you go, I don't like this, it's a
Moving on to the Twitter reactions to all of this, ImAllexx Show says, so in the fight you guys were having over following people, was it that you were cheating? I struggled to understand the context to any of these clips or text. It's clipped so perfectly. Alice responds, he was following girls he was in relations with previously. I do note this in my statement. Sorry it's messy. ImAllexx Show responds by saying, not to be rude, but you didn't answer my question. In your doc, it says he called you names because you were replying to followers. And then you found out he was following exes. Was the context to these arguments about cheating? Alice responds, no. No one cheated, and then Willie thanks her for clarifying. RealOnox1 says, support victims, always. Wonderstruck says, just finished reading through the drive. Genuinely deplorable behavior. I sincerely do apologize for the volatile behavior that was directed towards you. MC says, could always tell that fella was a strange freak. Sorry this happened to you. Hope you're alright. Eleanor says, I'm so sorry you went through this for so long. The screenshots and videos are horrifying. You are incredibly brave for getting yourself out of that situation, and I'm so glad you are safe now. Sending love. Achito says, ImAllexx being a fucking freak was on my 2024 bingo card. 33335 says, I hate to say this, but this is the most predictable exposure of someone I've ever seen. It's also entirely in character for ImAllexx to turn on his face cam while he verbally abuses his girlfriend, cause he's just that fucking stupid. Lorex quote tweets Alice and says, ex-girlfriend of ImAllexx, Alice, has just made her public accusations against him, which is 82 pages and a bunch of other video recordings. Holy shit. Justin responds by saying, he is cooked. There is nothing he can do to recover from this. Cavos quote tweets Alice and says, ImAllexx gets exposed by his ex-partner with plenty of receipts. If this is all true, then he is the cowardly, manipulative cretin I have always known him to be. Everything I have read here is disgusting. It's mind-blowing how many receipts there actually are. Zach responds by saying, you are the only YouTuber I can think of that isn't part of the UK circle jerk. Cavos responds, why do you think the bigger ones constantly try to discredit me without any actual arguments or proof, other than me being a hater, laughing my ass off? Cavos reacts to the death threat video clip by saying, ImAllexx threatening his girlfriend on a Discord call just got leaked. I'm gonna fucking bash your fucking head against the wall with a brick if you don't shut the fuck up. What a disgusting piece of shit. Always knew he was a complete cretin. Andy responds by saying, yeah, but why was he looking at the camera? All seems staged. Cavos responds, it's a private Discord call between him and his ex. Emily responds by saying, what was the context? I really need to know. Can't believe Alex would be like this. I genuinely liked his content. Cavos responds, imagine asking for context for someone telling his girlfriend he's gonna bash her head into a wall with a brick. Eva says, context is still important. What Alex said is fucked, but it doesn't excuse potential wrongdoing on Malice's part either. It's way more nuanced than that. Look at Johnny versus Amber as an example of how both sides can be guilty. Cavos responds, I agree it is important, but we can clearly see here he gets uncomfortably angry and says that shit to her. It isn't like they are having a big argument. For clarity here, context is important, but this clip we see him and his girlfriend arguing, and then he takes it to an extreme level. On top of the Google document where he threatens her more, calls her all sorts of disgusting names, it is clear that his behavior is fucking disgusting, and a pattern. Crash responds by saying, welp, there goes another good YouTuber. Cavos responds, he was never good. Nogla responds by saying, he has the Satan goat on his t-shirt. Just saying. Lux also posts the clip of ImAllexx threatening his girlfriend, and LFC Horror responds with this gif and says, the downfall of ImAllexx is delicious. Thornhill says, he was annoying as a creator, and now I have a genuine reason to hate him. Wavy Websurf quote tweets the clip and says, bro fired up the 4K live streaming setup to scream at his girlfriend, I'm dead. Turkey Tom responds by saying, thought he was gay. Nicholas Diorio responds, exposed straight during Pride Month. ImAllexx Show says, he was a false LGBT. Stolen honor for sure. Mushi Mushimon says, those little arms flails, laughing my fucking ass off. Slazo, who was the victim of ImAllexx falsely accusing him of abuse, got his revenge when he posted to Twitter this gif with the caption, good morning. Sensitive Society responds, laughing my ass off. Pegasus says, laughing my fucking ass off. Bro had the last laugh. Quite, who was also falsely accused and then proven innocent later on, responds with a smiley face. X8 quote tweets Slazo and says, bro came back to Twitter after half a year to tweet this. The Poser quote tweets Slazo and says, Slazo after he reads the ImAllexx allegations,
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
Keemstar tweets out, ImAllexx just accused of sexual assault and abuse by his ex-girlfriend. Video evidence on drama alert. Call Me Beggar responds with this picture of Keemstar in the caption, Alex, you say? Adjusted55 shows a guy about to Minecraft himself and says, bro is cooked if there is video evidence. Colossal's Crazy tweets out, Baited returns for one final episode. Kavos responds, if you have guests, let me phone in. Keemstar quote tweets Colossal and says, I'm in. And then the third co-host of the Baited podcast, Tommy C, quote tweets Colossal and says that he's in too. Keemstar also tweets out a picture of Alex and says, I've been warning you about this wanker ImAllexx since 2016. No one listened! John quote tweets this and says, just a reminder that there is a genuine victim in all of this. Posting things like I told you so is so fucking strange. This isn't about point scoring and trying to seem intelligent. Yes, ImAllexx is a rat, but Alice was abused. Support her and all victims. Forward shows some more text leaks from ImAllexx and says, nah ImAllexx, me personally, I'd off myself if this shit got leaked. And then it shows just a bunch of uninterrupted messages of ImAllexx with no response from Alice, and as you can see by the messages, he is desperate at this point. So much so that he just spams the word DMs like 7 times in a row towards the end. And speaking of unintentionally funny messages from ImAllexx, in 2017 he tweeted out, sorry I'm not nice when it comes to admitting sexual abuse and manipulation. Peace. Nicholas Diorio then quote tweets him with this clip.
Yeah! Oh, better luck next time, buddy! Woo! Woo! Yeah, all right! Woo!
Another unintentionally funny tweet from Alex in 2019 was posted by Kavos with the caption, ImAllexx could be talking to himself here. The tweet has Alex saying, it's incredibly brave to speak out about your experience. I hope he doesn't get to continue doing this to other impressionable people. Those messages make me feel ill. Shroomy shares a screenshot of a bunch of JoJo Siwa videos that ImAllexx made and captions it by saying, with all the JoJo Siwa videos he's been making, you'd expect ImAllexx to realize Karma's a bitch and he should have known better. Lorek shares some of the texts that Alice provided in her document and captions it by saying, these ImAllexx texts. The first one he shows starts with Alex saying, emotional level of a fucking brick. Just say yes, you dumb whore. You're thick, man. Alice responds, you are a bad boyfriend calling me a bitch and insulting me every time you get slightly upset. The next image has Alice saying, block me. And then Alex responds, you definitely were giving me shit attitude. Yeah, I won't unblock you though. Cause talking to you, and then Alice says, if that stops me getting called a dumb whore, yeah. And then Alex ignores that to continue typing, is like talking to a brick. Maybe don't be a dumb whore? Alice responds, bye. And then Alex says, that'd be like so much cooler. The next image has Alice saying, I admitted what I did. And then Alex saying, I'm going to fucking kill Toy. You. She responds, said sorry for my tone. That's not abusive at all. Alex responds, I'm going to break your neck. And then this last image has Alex saying, you know what I meant. Alice responds, good night. And then Alex says, so kill yourself, please. And then Lorek shows one more, which is his personal favorite, where Alice says, okay. And then Alex responds with the N-word. Mario Master 456 says, ImAllexx has the opportunity to do something really funny. I have made a severe and constant lapse in judgment. Okay, so this one's really funny. Robian shares this image and says, not ImAllexx trying to communicate through Amazon! Let's all point and laugh. And then they show an image of Alice holding up a paper with an Amazon gift message from Alex saying, I am deeply sorry for upsetting you and letting you down constantly. I hope one day you can forgive me and we can talk. From Alex Emsley. Oh my god, imagine getting blocked on everything to the point where the only way to communicate with someone is through Amazon gift messages. That is quite creative. Charon Tor shares this gif and says, ImAllexx bragging that he's a professional YouTuber and streamer when he hasn't been relevant for years. Pimpin' Pete says, imagine paying for your ImAllexx cameo and the doc drops half an hour later, showing that the last completed cameo order from ImAllexx was indeed 30 minutes before the document dropped. Riley says, ImAllexx shitting on his girlfriend's depression when he non-stop talks about his own depression in YouTube videos is insane. Pegasus tweets out this image of ImAllexx wearing a shirt that says, I accuse my friends of rape, and captions it by saying, hello everyone, ImAllexx! Nicholas Diorio responds, I remember making this stupid meme 5 years ago, laughing my ass off. Wild to see it hit the timeline. Pegasus responds, it's a classic. Bot says,
ImAllexx is an actual fucking villain, laughing my ass off. Imagine spending years preaching, believe victims, and acting so holier than thou when it comes to other content creators being outed as abusers, only to be a sick, demented fuck yourself. The call is always coming from inside the house. I used to be so sad that he dumped me as a friend out of nowhere, but now I'm genuinely grateful the universe protected me from that slimy bastard. Just a disgusting individual. Yuri Tones responds, also him being exposed as an abuser makes his involvement with the Slazo allegations all the more ironic. So in my last video on ImAllexx that I uploaded recently, I went over the allegations that were levied against him by his ex-girlfriend Alice. And since that came out, a bunch of friends of ImAllexx have given their statements that were shown on Twitter by Samuel with the caption, "Friends of ImAllexx, Inaber and Jake Baz, have spoken out about the recent Alex allegations. Both have condemned Alex's behavior and have shown support to Alice. On top of this, Slazo also made a return. He then shows Instagram stories from Inaber that start out with him saying, should say yeah, I know about the situation, and hope you all send nothing but support to Alice. Genuinely some of the most terrific shit I've ever read. Cannot explain how brave it is to come out and speak about this stuff, especially considering how long it seemed to have been going on. Really trying to not come in here with the eyes and make it about me, as this is about Alice, and she deserves all the support possible, but yeah, I should say of fucking course I didn't know about this until recently. I wasn't even aware the two had fully broken up until April. That's how in the dark I was on this. I have very much been in the dark on all of this until recently. The level of what was said in the document about him is just indescribable. Just absolutely horrific. The situation makes me feel genuinely ill, but also angry, but I would prefer to keep those personal thoughts private for now, as this is about Alice, not me. For fuck's sake, also aware that I misspelt document in that last post. But yeah, my head is naturally spinning a bit with this. Don't really think words can describe how I'm feeling about what I read in that doc. So I will say please just be kind to Alice. Just send your support and be kind to her. This is so fucked up, and I wish nothing but the best to her. I honestly feel like I should, but also I want to say more, but I genuinely don't know what to write. I have like a million thoughts. I know this seems like a very unprofessional way to respond to this too, as it more just feels like I'm venting about it, but I'm not going to give some scripted PR document. This is one of the most fucked up situations I have ever seen. But for now, as I don't want to take away from the actual story in any way, I will say support Alice. Do not be intrusive and send her a million questions. I doubt she needs that shit right now. Sorry if this has been rambly. This is a painful situation. Another one of ImAllexx's friends, Jake Baz, makes an Instagram story about this saying, "Hi all, I have seen the situation. Please support Alice in her post, as it's absolutely vile and disgusting, the videos alone. It's genuinely horrifying. As Inaber has said, we were left in the dark about his relationship, only finding out they broke up 5 months later. Alice's story is one of the worst things I've seen for manipulation and disgusting consistent actions. I hope Alice has time and space to heal from this. Give her time. I am hurt by this. Please support victims. Support Alice's bravery to come out with her story. She really needs it." Nicholas Diorio shares another response from one of Alex's friends, this time being Memulus when he captions his post by saying, Memulus has posted an Instagram story condemning Alex Emsley, ImAllexx. The Instagram story starts out with him saying, I'm aware of the Alex situation. I would usually wait until both parties have said their side publicly before speaking about it, but I think the evidence here is overwhelming. I spent this morning reading what Alice has written, and going over the evidence she's provided, and no one should have to go through what she has. It's awful and disturbing and has seriously shocked me. I'm still processing what's happened. This is one of the worst situations I have ever seen in my life, and I hope Alice is okay. It took a lot of courage to speak about this, but it wasn't all universal support and love for Alice, as Cope and Seed on Twitter brought up some concerns when they tweeted out, so I was pulling apart the doc that was dropped on ImAllexx, and I noticed that a few of the screenshots have been cropped. Interestingly, they were cropped within the doc itself, so Google preserved the rest of the image data, which I was able to extract. Here they are uncropped, showing that she labeled ImAllexx as racist N-word in her contact on her phone. Cope and Seath continues by saying, I wonder why she may have cropped these screenshots where you can clearly see she has ImAllexx saved as racist N-word in her phone, laughing my ass off. For anyone who wants to verify this, here are instructions for replication. 1. Download the original document as a .docx. 2. Change the extension to .zip. Word docs are actually just zip files, fun fact. 3. Extract the files and navigate to word/media. Chaos Goblin responds by saying, first of all, although this is disrespectful, I don't think this takes away from the fact that ImAllexx seemed to be manipulative, gaslighting, and disgusting abuser who needs to be called out for all this. You seem to be framing this like she's just as bad. Victim blaming isn't lit. Danzy says, what kind of relationship is this? Laughing my ass off! Why on earth are two white people calling each other the N-word? Meg says, clearly neither of them are model citizens. But please let's not use this as a reason to invalidate her story. I'm seeing so many people use this as a defense for Alex's actions, and that's so insanely sick and twisted considering he physically and mentally abused her. Love Who Harder quote tweets Cope and Seeds by saying, Alice Hess is a racist, and Alice Hess is a victim of abuse. Can coexist as sentences, by the way. Don't understand why some people saying this takes away from the allegations against ImAllexx. It is disingenuous on her part to be like, wow, look at my racist boyfriend, while also being racist? Yeah, it is. Did he also threaten to physically harm and kill her multiple times over? Yeah, he did. See how easy that is? Dog Brown responds by saying, but what if Alex was only abusing her because she called him the N-word? Have we really heard both sides of the story? Love Who Harder responds, good bait, worked very well. Does your mother love you anymore for it? Cope and Seeth updates their thread when they quote tweet themselves and say, the Alex Hess Discord server is now speculating that a black friend of hers might be responsible for changing Alex's name in her phone to racist N-word. Laughing my ass off. They then show Discord messages that start out with Vanon saying, you know it's funny because the context of her naming him that was because of how much he called her it. Jade responds, what the fuck is wrong with you? Meg responds, oof. Melon says, reporting for duty. And then Becca says, there is no proof that she typed that herself. She could have gotten a black friend to do it? Alice then responds to all of this by saying, I write in my statement multiple times that I became reckless with my use of language, because this was so normalized by Alex. I am well aware this doesn't excuse my use of the word, but it is an honest explanation. I apologize for any offense caused by this. Rennie responds by saying, abuse makes people act in ways they never would, and that go completely against their morals because the abuser blurs the lines between reality and delusion. You've handled this well. Some people won't understand it, but please know that there are people who get it. Danzy says, you cannot blame him for your use of that word, lol. And then you tried to cover it up by cropping it out. There's a whole side to this that everyone is 100% being missed out. Hexiron says, the thing isn't right, we know that. But he used these words against her all the time, and hardly no one is mentioning that. She was in an abusive relationship. You all are totally missing the point. She admitted to it and said sorry. This girl has gone through hell. Richie says, I think people might be missing the actual point here. Alice was physically and mentally abused here and threatened. Anybody who is going to defend Alex after reading Alice's statement and listening and seeing what's been shared really needs to speak to somebody. Kate reacts to Alice's response by saying, you know y'all can agree that ImAllexx is a horrible person, while also calling Alice out on her use of the N-word, right? Both things can happen at once. Jay Swingler says, creators who knew about the whole Alex situation before it became public, only now speaking on it, is a prime example of creators being opportunists. Creators are so excited about drama, they completely forget it's a human being that's suffering. Where the fuck the concern and genuine support for the girl? God, I hate influencers sometimes. Prab responds, holy cook! Ellie says, I'm so confused. You think they were supposed to come out before the victim wanted to? And that would be concern and genuine support? Larnie says, I disagree. It's really not their place to talk about it until the victim is ready to share their story. Jake says, slightly unfair. It's clearly something that the victim only feels comfortable enough to talk about, so how would another influencer going public before she felt comfortable enough to approach the situation have helped Alice? Xylee Gets Real quote tweets Jay Swingler and says, oh shut the fuck up! What the fuck were they supposed to do? Tell the story for her? Not give her a chance to go through the correct channels first? Jesus fucking Christ, you people are fucking brain dead and don't know how any of this works. Nicholas Diorio quote tweets Jay Swingler and says, "Creators who knew for the last month gave Alex space, as she said she was exhausting her options with law enforcement. This was the correct decision. I also don't know a single person who had access to the full document of evidence. Creators are so excited about drama, they completely forget it's a human that's suffering. This would apply to the one YouTuber who went public with essentially no evidence and, in my opinion, pushed Alice to come out with her statement faster than she was prepared to. A couple more YouTubers made statements on Alex, like Mia and Willanie, who had their statements posted to Twitter by Lux. Both of these statements come from Instagram, with Mia's saying, "This is something I have been aware of since May of last year, and is something that, in my opinion, is well known throughout the industry. I can't speak for people who aren't in our group, or who I don't see regularly, but the openness at which this was discussed amongst people last year, I find it genuinely hard to believe that creators close to Alex had no idea this was going on. When I found out, Alex and I were signed to the same talent agency. I immediately made them aware of the accusations and put pressure on them to drop him, which they did. This was June 2023. From the documents in the drive, it looks like things escalated even further from what I was aware of. Emotional abuse, threats of violence, use of racial slurs, which is so heartbreaking. I don't know Alice personally, but sending her so much love and support." Now moving on to Alex's friend Willanie's statement. He says, "Firstly, I hope Alice is doing well and commend her massively for having the courage to get that out there. As Mia mentioned, there were rumors of his behavior earlier last year. Myself and a few others haven't had contact with him since, or been his friend for even longer. With that being said, the severity of the abuse that Alice published was far worse than anything I heard being discussed. That Google Drive is fucking abhorrent, and what he put her through is inexcusable." Justice for Jost reacts by saying, "Now I understand why James now only makes videos with Willanie and ImAllexx, but not with ImAllexx. Because he knew ImAllexx was bad, and I remember a clip of him saying, 'If I stop hanging out with a person, that means that they are no good,' or something like this." Tyler says, "You say this with a Wilbur dedicated account downplaying the abuse he put Shelby through. James has stopped hanging out with Wilbur and supports Shelby. You are a major hypocrite, mate. And if you want to know about that situation, I have a video up on the channel all about it." But moving on, Evie responds by saying, "You are a Wilbert suit fan. Give your head a wobble." Ty says, "Bringing ImAllexx, Willanie, and James Marriott into ImAllexx drama is crazy. They haven't even done anything." Wanda responds by saying, "You are right that dragging others into this that haven't done anything is wrong, but calling this drama is also wrong. This isn't a silly argument or high school drama. We have mountains of evidence that Alex was verbally, physically, and psychologically abusive towards Alice." Ty responds, "Obviously. I just couldn't think of another word. My bad." NNY says, "Right. I don't know about George, but Will and James stopped talking to Alex ages ago." Ty responds, "Exactly." Tommy C reacts to Willanie's statement by saying, "This guy went into business with Alex right after Slazo, and now he is shocked and appalled by his behavior. I guess making out a guy to be a sex offender is not all that bad in their world." Nicholas Diorio reacts to Maya's statement by saying, "Willanie's ex claims she had dropped Alex from his talent agency and puts pressure on his former friends." We then get another statement from ImAllexx that gets tweeted out by Smaggledaggle with the caption, "It should also be noted that ImAllexx put out a follow-up statement about the situation." The post starts out with him saying, "Just to follow up, Alex and I lived together between 2018 to 2022. They started dating in 2023. I've only seen them in person 2 or 3 times since moving out. I don't socialize much at all in the typical UK YouTube circles, especially in the last couple of years. I only found out about the situation in general on April 2nd of this year, when a fellow content creator brought it up to me in a call. When I suggested a joint recording between us and him, he said he didn't know any specifics, or what was even being alleged, just that it was bad. All I had heard prior to this is that they argued frequently. A couple weeks later, Alice started posting TikToks alluding to the situation. It wasn't until just after that I got a bit more clarity when I was out for dinner with another creator, and they brought up the fact that Alice had briefly published some text messages from them on TikTok before deleting them. I knew it was bad, but I didn't know just how bad it was until I went over all of the information when it was made public. I don't want to take attention away from the victim, but I think it's important I clarify my position and timeline of events. Please send your support to Alice. this. But Memulus wasn't the only one to make a follow-up statement, as iNabber did as well, which we found out about on Twitter when Samuel tweeted it out with the caption, iNabber has dropped another statement against ImAllexx, and has put together a timeline of events. He's claimed that he didn't know what was going on with Alice, and that he feels guilty over it, and that his friendship with Alex was incredibly toxic and on and off again. Thoughts? He then shows more Instagram stories from iNabber, which start out with him saying, by the way, this is when I found out about the Alex stuff. This is me messaging him after a creator made some tweets calling Alex basically terrible and something on the lines of the truth always comes out. It then shows iNabber asking Alex on the 16th of April, the fuck is Charlie on about? Alex responds, and then iNabber says, sure. He continues to comment on this screenshot by saying, furthest thing I knew before that was rumors said to me by someone who went to a party that he'd fallen out with his housemates after they apparently wrote things down of him, saying shit talk about them. Back when Alex was living with the people he lived with, I did really speak to him much. Dude kinda went MIA other than YouTube stuff, as he had a new set of friends, which was pretty normal. Only summer year Alex started properly interacting with us in a server to play games. I've always been a friend with him, seen Alex about once since 2023. The dude never discussed personal stuff with us lol, solely just YouTube and games. He then shows some Discord DMs and captions them by saying, this was March this year, when we thought they were still together or seeing each other lol. Someone says to iNabber, has to be Alice. iNabber responds, you think? And then the other person says, I'm not answering these questions, to a simple question. Yeah, I think so. iNabber continues to comment on this by saying, we suspected they kept breaking up then trying to work on things when refollowing each other and unfollowing, but the man never wanted to discuss it with us ever. Literally zero idea what was going on. A refusal to talk about it, but no indication of the true extent. He then shows a Discord message from the 10th of January, 2024 where iNabber says, oh no, they've unfollowed each other again. I just checked. He continues commenting on this by saying, they were still making videos together, as was him and his old friend group until early 2024, so really had nothing to go off of. When I saw that tweet in April, I called him and was told about their toxic relationship. He then shows that he had a call with ImAllexx that lasted an hour on the 16th of April 2024. iNabber continues by saying, and from there to now, I and others were trying to work out what the hell was going on. With this Alice situation, I personally was kept in the dark on it for such a long time. I think what makes me feel truly guilty is I genuinely thought those two were really happy together, until me and my friends saw signs they kept falling out via unfollows and TikTok reposts. I know even before this situation, Alex has been involved in a lot of stuff, but I've always been loyal to him as a friend, and tried to stick by him, even if he was perceived as a dickhead by a great many of people. Me and that man used to argue and fall out a lot, but last year when we started playing games together, I genuinely thought he was becoming a much better person, and happier person, and I thought that was because he had finally settled down with someone, and that thought now makes me feel ill, and an overwhelming amount of guilt. Me, my friendship group, Alex, and even Alice used to play games together quite a lot, and now looking back on what the fuck was going on, genuinely fucking shocks me, and makes me feel so ill. Sorry to make these stories about myself, but I thought I'd explain a brief timeline of events for further understanding. Me and Alex had a very toxic friendship. I would prefer to keep that private for the most part, but all these clips, recordings, messages in the document, I read them for the first time this week too, and that makes me feel more sick. The fact I got zero honesty even in the end. Whole thing is just awful. And again, nothing but my support goes out to Alice. I think what makes me feel really disturbed is being genuinely worried about them as a friend between December and March of this year. I noticed he was upset a lot more when we played games, or discussed YouTube in calls, and I plus others in the group tried being there as a mate, even asking him what was up quite a lot. Never got an answer. So instead we just played games and hoped things would get better him. Just a mate supporting another mate, who was going through it mentally. Just so fucked up knowing why he was actually upset. But yeah, honestly, that's as much as I can really say, as that's basically the whole timeline. Another ex-friend of ImAllexx, King Annie, also came out and made a statement about her experience with ImAllexx. The document starts out with her saying, though we never confirmed it to the public, because I personally like keeping my relationships private, I dated Alex from June 2017 until March 2018. It was the most toxic relationship I have ever been in, and I was lucky to get out of it when I did. When we were dating, though he was from England and I lived in America,
We were pretty much never apart for longer than a week. We stayed in Europe for a couple months, then went to America for 6 months. He couldn't stay 6 months straight due to visa implications, so we stayed 3 months, flew back to England for a few days, then came back to America for another 3 months. After this 6 months was over, and he couldn't come to America again for a while due to visa requirements, we spent some time away from each other, and during that time, with the help of my friends, I came to the realization that I was in the worst and most toxic relationship I had ever been in, and I had to get out. It started out great, as they always do, the honeymoon phase as they call it, but as time went on, things got worse and worse. I was fortunate to get out when I did, but reading all the new information that comes out, he's clearly gotten worse. During the relationship, he made me feel insane. It never felt like he listened to me. I always felt belittled and inferior. Whenever we recorded videos together, he would constantly talk over me and never let me have a moment. Most of the time when I had problems, he would always somehow make it about himself, or talk about his own issues. He would get stressed out over his YouTube channel constantly, and complain about uploading, as if it was the hardest job on the planet, and no one had it harder than him. His classic line was, "I can't catch a fucking break." If we ever had a disagreement, he would also sometimes allude to the possibility of killing himself over minor conflicts as a threat, so I couldn't continue with the conversation. It was nearly impossible to give him any kind of criticism, because it was like adding to the pile of minor issues that he had already blown far out of proportion in his head. Another thing he did was spin his own narrative and twist words. He didn't just do this in the relationship, he did it in his work and with his friends. It was the main reason why many people stopped talking to him, because we started to realize when there was even the smallest amount of drama, and he heard about it, he would make sure to involve himself, even if the subject had absolutely nothing to do with him, and he would just make everything so much worse. For example, the Slazo situation. Though it was never said in the original statements by Che, he somehow came to the conclusion that it was rape, and everyone else got the blame for saying his words. Somehow, the situation went from being guilty of being a bad boyfriend to all of a sudden he's a rapist. That was the final nail in the coffin, and I cut all contact with him after that. During our relationship, I bought him and I matching Alex and Annie bracelets for Valentine's Day, because I was like, oh neat, a company with both of our names. You can see him pressing the heart on the bracelet to his lips in his Back to Nothing video, which he has since taken down from his channel. She then links in archive.org of this footage. This video was released as a response to me breaking up with him. He uploaded this video after I stopped talking to him, as a way of trying to guilt me into replying to him. He did to me what he has done in his relationship with Alice, where he would fly off the handle and get mad, then act all apologetic and sad to try to get me to feel sorry for him, and forgive everything he has said and done. Lastly, the only time he ever laid a finger on me was when he grabbed me as I was trying to run away from a conflict. We were trying to record a YouTube video together, and he was getting frustrated at having to restart the recording multiple times. He started shouting and beating his fist on the table, even going as far as to break his microphone. I was scared, so I got up to leave the room, which is when he grabbed my arm to physically stop me. I remember saying, "You grabbed my arm," several times in shock, as if to say, who the fuck would ever grab someone like that? Once again, I was fortunate that that was the only time something like that ever happened. I got out before it got even worse, as it clearly has with the new information that's come out. It saddens me that it's all come this far. I wished Alice the best privately, and it breaks my heart to have seen all the things she has gone through. I hope Alice's and my story show you what he was really like behind the scenes. If you are in an abusive relationship, please get out now. You can't fix them. Wavy Websurf responds to King Annie by saying, "Laughing my ass off, you helped spread those Slazo allegations. Don't try to slink out of that. You heard a rumor, did zero vetting, and went with it. Take some accountability for what happened. You co-signed that false story." Infixed YouTube says, "Didn't the two of you collaborate on accusing Slazo?" Mango responds with old tweets from King Annie and the caption, "Yeah, sure. You did nothing wrong yourself." These tweets are from June 28th, 2019, and it starts out with King Annie saying, "In regards to the Slazo situation, Michael is still guilty for what he did in the past. Whether Che intentionally or accidentally left some bits out, he still admitted to it in the video, but people are glossing over it. He gaslighted Che, which is a form of manipulation. If someone talked to me like that in a relationship, I would have left. But Che was 14, and she knew no better, while Slazo was 16. That's a massive mentality difference during those ages. Also, that's not how I remember it is a shit rebuttal. At this point, it's he said, she said. I'm still sticking with my
friend Che. Though Che may have made some mistakes, I don't want to be around someone who treats someone they are supposed to love like that. I hope he gets some therapy to sort out his issues. The confusing opinion responds to King Annie with another tweet from 2019 where she talks about Slazo by saying, "Innocent people don't stay quiet for this long." Penny responds to Annie by saying, "Bro literally glazed ImAllexx 4 years ago when you were trying to cancel Slazo." Comment Cop reacts to King Annie weighing in on the situation with a picture of old men sharing secrets and the caption, "A second Google Doc has hit ImAllexx." Irrational Chad then makes the same joke when he quote tweets Annie and says, "A second allegation has hit ImAllexx." Nicholas Diorio says, "Mr. President, a second Alex Emsley allegation has hit the tower." Nick then tweets out the part of King Annie's statement where she mentions Slazo and captions it by saying, "This passage goes crazy. I think this genuinely might be her first real public acknowledgement of the Slazo allegations, and it's flinging Alex's lifeless corpse under the bus. Laughing my ass off. I don't doubt he was more involved than you. But what is this?" Another ex-friend of Alex's, Blues Dank, tweets about the situation when he says, "I'm sorry, but I'm going to be that guy. I fucking warned so many people about Alex's behavior. Just lack of care for anyone but himself, and his genuine desire to want to constantly cause chaos, and I was ignored for a long time by a lot of people. Alice coming forward with what she went through has finally made even his closest friends realize. But the truth is, he has done a lot of what was documented in Alice's case to others before, and people just let him get away with it. Why? Very easy cop-out to just say, 'We weren't friends with him, haha,' when realistically you kind of enabled his behavior to only worsen by giving him a platform. Why did the E-Boys even fucking exist when everyone was saying, 'Why Alex?' Tommy C responds by saying, 'You warned them, lol, they all knew, and they didn't care if they thought they could get a buck out of him.' We then get another statement, this time from ImAllexx's former roommate, that was posted by Nicholas Diorio on Twitter with the caption, "ImAllexx's former roommate puts out a statement, Alex Emsley." He then shows an Instagram story from George Clarkey who says, "In light of the recent statement and videos coming out about Alex, and having previously lived with him, I know a lot of people have been asking for my opinion on things. This isn't and would never be behavior that I would condone on any level. A year ago, I decided I wanted to move out. Stop making videos and associating with him. I had heard things he said about myself and others making videos with him at the time in a similar narcissistic manner shown in Alice's screenshots. I had spoken to Alice prior to her statement about his behavior, and things that I heard him say to her, but I had no idea of the severity or relentlessness of what was happening. It's truly gross and disgusting behavior. I just wanted my standpoint to be known, so the focus could stay on the person who was brave enough to tell her story." Wavy Websurf responds by saying, "I heard his dentist is sitting on a career-ending Google Doc that they are preparing to drop." Izzy says, "What's disgusting is how y'all are making it about every single other creator, and not Alice. This is a really fucked up situation, and she needs support. Blame the abuser, get him off the internet, and focus on Alice the victim. I really feel for that girl. She must feel awful." Steven says, "Can't wait for his barber to come out and say Alex was rude and flipped him the bird." And that is about it for the last 5 years of ImAllexx drama. Quite an interesting individual to look back on. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this entire situation that has unfolded over the past 5 years in the comment section below, and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.